Hi. Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
What was
Hello.
that? Hello.
Hello, Clarice. We were doing Bane impressions as we were waiting to go on. Uh, people of no, Justin, you do it. You're better at it. People of the Ailing Isle,
People of Gotham.
take
I
control
gotta find some
of
lines.
your city. Plus, I was singing. Was it Boys to Men? Was I singing Boys
Boys
to
to
Men?
Men.
I think I
Boys
was
to Men
singing
for
Boys to
sure.
Men. End of the road. Because we are in our final. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be. Are you guys excited? This is our final. Our final session for Ailing Isle story. It's gonna end tonight, one way or the other. If we have to go to 1 o'clock in the morning, well, damn it. We'll play again next week instead because I don't want to play at 1 o'clock in the morning. But no, we should be done. We are in quite a bit of a pickle. But hi to those of you who are in the channel, or to those of you watching later on VOD or on YouTube. We are Adventures in Lollygagging. We play every Thursday night here at 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific for us. We're on PST. We've been playing the Ailing Isle for the last 6 weeks. This is our 7th episode. What was intended to be a 5-episode arc ended up being 7. Probably is what we're looking at. So that's fine, and we're ready. We're pretty excited about doing the new chapter next week with probably a lot of new characters. Maybe some returning characters if anyone survives tonight. So we'll see how that goes. We do a bunch of other things as well. I'm just gonna get through this fast because I want to play. So we play Mutineer Zero on Fridays, sometimes Saturdays. We're playing tomorrow, so 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central over on twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers. You can also catch me and Melissa. We play on Mondays on twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers. We just started up a new show. We're two episodes in to Heart, the City Beneath, using a wonderful set of rules that's really fun, very similar to like Darkest Dungeon if you're familiar with that video game. Matt from Zweihander RPG, if you've seen him, Jowsum, he's playing Defenders of Cobalt. We got a couple of those folks playing, Chuck and Dan and Joe, and we're having a blast. So come check that out. And then we got our podcast, our Zweihander podcast that drops every Monday. It's our Call to Ruin ongoing long campaign. We just recorded our 45th episode a couple days ago, and we're playing again this weekend. So we should have episode 45 on Monday. So it's fun. And then Justin and I, we do another podcast. We do the Lollygaggers podcast, which drops every Wednesday. And what did we just talk about? We talked about sliders. Didn't we talk about sliders? Like the show, not the sandwich. So we did that.
I'd love to talk about the sandwich too.
Should we just change our
They're
podcast?
they're like burgers, but smaller.
Yeah.
So I feel less guilty when I have 7 of them. You know,
Jeez.
when I have 7 normal sized burgers,
Jeez.
I feel kind of guilty.
7
When I have 7 sliders, that's fine.
That's a lot. 7. Did you ever
My cholesterol is 7,000. So
I know you're an Ohio guy originally, and I know you lived in Florida for like most of your life. But did you have White Castle at all growing up?
no, we have the equivalent of Florida is a place called Crystals.
Yeah. Okay.
It is garbage food. It tastes awful, and I think the last time I had it, it gave me awful.
Nope. You don't got
bubble guts. Bubble guts. That's all I said. Bubble guts. Right?
Okay.
So it's just awful.
So anyway,
Why do both of them sound like a strip club? Is my question.
White Castle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
White Castle sound like a strip club?
a little bit.
Bristol sounds like a strip club. I'm pretty
Crystals
sure
sounds like a
strippers do eat there though.
Wow, what are we talking about now? What has this
So-
devolved into?
Don't know.
No.
I don't even know what we're talking
Don't
about.
know.
We're
Burgers.
stalling. We're stalling right now
Food.
so that Long Lee can wake up because Long Lee was sleeping about 15 minutes ago.
Hey,
Hey, I'm here. What do you mean?
Anyway, are we ready to go? We ready? We excited? I'm excited to play and see how this goes because I kind of know how it's gonna go a little bit, except for one of you. I was telling Justin, like Justin's like the wild card right now.
Shocker.
I kind of think like the other ones I'm sort of in control. I can sort of figure out what's probably gonna happen there, but I don't even know what the hell we're doing with him.
who knows where I am? I could
He
be over
He
here.
could be anywhere. He's
Hey, we over here.
yeah, and I still got to get through 8 of his lives. It's ridiculous. All right, so do we want to summarize this? Who wants to do this? Who wants to summarize?
We
not
spent
Justin.
the last episode traipsing back and forth across the island, back and forth and back and forth. We did a really good job of not metagaming and going somewhere just because we knew somebody else went somewhere.
I like how you just like pat yourself on the back. We did such
Yeah.
a good job.
Yeah, we did. We did
Yeah.
a great job because we're all going to die. So, I mean, we have to feel good about ourselves now about the things that we
Well,
tried
not
to do.
necessarily everybody. Mordio, how do you feel about your chances of surviving?
Oh, it's gonna be great. This is my next big career move.
Yeah, Mordio was offered a job. Not only was he given a place to stay, he made quite the impression on Dr. Ingman during the dinner party that he was offered a job to be his biographer, to write his life story, to write out his testament and his uncle's testament, whatever the hell that means. And you have signed some contracts and things, and and that's really sort of, everything looks fine for you. Nothing could possibly go wrong. You did go for a little weird cave swim, like you were swimming trying to escape the caves, and so you navigated some of those waters. Caves that Florence and Big Sis eventually went to as well, but didn't explore as fully. You also ran into some people, some servants and things that were preparing something. You're not sure exactly what, but you two and Gregor attacked Gerd as well. Gerd was one of the people at the orchard, and you've been hiding out at the orchard. Yeah, he killed as he tried to run up a hill and warn people, because you two are wanted for a few things, for murdering a couple groundsfolk when fighting Ivo. Ivo got away, but the rest of them didn't. One of them
We were wanted even before that, though.
That's fair. And then you also set fire to some of the fields, which was interesting. That had an interesting effect on things, and so that caused some chaos. And then old Holy Roller here, who is busy rolling away. What did Holy Roller do? He escaped the hospital. He escaped the hospital because
landed right on my belly
because of divine coincidence, and he climbed out, leaving all of the passengers behind, not helping any of them get down. Just left them all there, and out he went.
Their problem, not mine. I'm quite a pious man.
And then he ran up to civilians and he's like, "Can I have a sheet?"
which didn't really go too well. And so let me switch over really quick to the combat scene here so you can see the map. So I've got the map of the island up, and we can see just how spread out everybody actually is. So as we got Holy Rollers down here by the actual dock storage, all by himself. That's where we left him. And the thing about the dock storage is that last night, because timing was a little weird, but last night Florence and Big Sis were there, and that's about where they had their fight with Ivo and some of the other folks. Florence, Big Sis, and Gregor are up by the orchard in the northeast part of the island. And then Mordio is having like lunch with Ingman up here in the northwest by the manor, and like it's like a nice big triangle where nobody is near anybody, and you all don't even know where each other are. I mean, the last time Florence and Big Sis saw Holy Roller, he was like, the three of you were coming back to the hospital after the dinner party, and then the two of you had to escape. Well, you have no idea what happened to Holy Roller. Holy Roller, you haven't seen them either. All of you haven't seen Mordio since the dinner party, and you're not even sure if Mordio knows anything about all the craziness.
And Mordio doesn't even care. So
that's fair. So, and Holy Roller left all those passengers by themselves up there, some of whom you recognize, like Dwally and Wilfred and stuff like that. There's Adrian and Paul, the halflings and such. Still can't find the Protzes, the rich folk, but Mordio did find their carriage, so there is some sort of suggestion that they maybe were at one point on the grounds of the manor. But yeah, so we are all over the place. So that's going to make starting this session really, really fun. So who do we want to start with tonight? I was thinking we start with Mordio, because Mordio is simple. Are you done eating?
Yeah, I'm just snacking on pretzels.
Okay, so you go ahead and
delicious Triscuit crackers.
You sign some contracts. You're in the private library of Conrad Ingman. Switch us back over to the drama now. You're in the private study / library of Dr. Ingman inside of his manor home. It was locked and blocked by some of the musicians the night of the dinner party, which was last night. And But you're in there now. You're going through some things, and at a certain point, he turns to you and he points out he like stacks up all sorts of different resources for you. So there's things like maps, and there's things like old journals of other people. And he says that he is growing a bit tired, and he'll have Margaret bring you some lunch, and then he is going to step out, and he is going to. He's an old man, and he's going to take a bit of a nap. And he stresses that tonight is an important night. There's services. It'll be important for you to watch. It's to document what kind of goes on at these services. And he says, continue your research going through here. There's a lot of contextual information that you can find. And then he bids you adieu unless there's something you wanted to ask him before he leaves.
No, I'll just take all the documents and look over those. And
Okay.
once Margaret comes by, I'll see if I can have a chat with her.
Okay. So if you, as you're reading through, you flip through and you can see that there's a variety of journals, some of which are his, some of which are from other folks that you've met. You see stuff from Zabornak, you see stuff from Fletcher. Some of these go back decades. Some of these go back to prior to the founding of the hospital on the island itself. From what you can understand, the three of them, Fletcher, Zabornak, and Dr. Ingman, used to work, or at least they served together in a capacity about 50 years ago, along some skirmishes in the military against the eastern border with the Evermores. He was a doctor. Zabornak was kind of just immediately underneath him. Fletcher was like a camp follower. She knew a little bit of medicine and other things, and so that's kind of how they met and started a friendship. So you're getting a lot of that just sort of basic personal history between them. You also get some details about folks that they've recruited along the way. Some people that you've never met. There's names that are referenced that don't show up. All throughout, there's constant reference to his uncle. So he constantly references his uncle as being inspiration, and that he's doing everything in his uncle's vision and dedicating all this to him. He also has quite a bit of sketches, it seems, and designs and diagrams for the sanitarium. There's all sorts of different maps as well, actual, like, trying to find a space to place this. And then there is a journal entry about like this stroke of divine brilliance where they came across an island as if it was just made for them. As he mentions, he credits once again his uncle for providing him this for him, and how if not for this island, it might have taken longer and longer. But he constantly references how it's an island that needs tending to, just as much as the patients do. And if not for the agreement of so many of these other folks, they might not have been able to sustain the outpost for so long. So you're going through a lot of ancient history relative to this. Eventually, Margaret does show up, and she brings you some basic food, and she looks very sketchy and concerned and tired.
Margaret, I'm glad to see you're okay.
And she just nods, and she says thank you, but when she looks at you, she says, "So are you going to be staying with us then?"
Yeah, it seems like an opportunity arose, but there's so many questions I still have. What do you know about the things on the island?
I know some things, yes.
Do you know where these, I think the Pattersons, were they called? The rich folks next door.
Protzes.
Prots.
They caused some problems the first night here. Those that are troublemakers don't last as long as you have. If you don't make waves, then sometimes they find uses for you. Like I have use. But my husband didn't listen when we said to play along, be quiet, bide our times. The Pratzes, they came here the first night and demanded that they be let in, that they stay. They nearly tried to evict Dr. Rufflebar and Dr. Ray from the guest house, learning that they were living there and that it was only suitable for them. I don't know exactly what happened to them, but I do know that there was an altercation in the courtyard. I have not seen them since.
And also about your husband. Do you know how long it's been since you've seen him? What's happened to him?
I think a year. I'm not sure. We've been here roughly one winter, one spring, and I think this is going to be our second autumn. So, I haven't seen him since, well, I haven't seen him since the last snow. It's been that long.
And also, there's some service today. Do you know anything about that?
Yes. I don't think there's anything you should be worried about. He seems to have taken a liking to you. They pay tribute to those that they think guide them, watch over them. There are horrible things that they do. Fortunately, I don't have to attend any longer. I can remain here and tend to the manor. But most of the medical staff will be there, and many of the groundsfolk will at the very least be there for services and then the procession, but the offering is usually reserved for, well, only for the upper echelon of people on the island. I don't know if he'll want you to observe it or not. He is a hard man to predict sometimes.
Eventually, I'll have to if this is all part of his works.
I suppose that's true. But be careful, Mr. Ulrich. You tried to do right by me, and I appreciate that. But playing the hero, well, I'm certain it did not do my husband any good, and I don't think it will do you any either in the end. Keep your head down.
Thanks for the warning.
Keep your head down and do what they say, and perhaps you could survive this. She takes like some plates and some stuff that you guys had from earlier, some drink stuff, and she hustles away, leaving you in the office. Is there anything you're looking to do before we cut to somebody else?
I'll just get ready to join the service or whatever it's about.
Okay. So you retire to your room, freshen up, etc. Holy Roller, let's go over to you. It is midday. You are holed up in the dock storage building, the building that you first encountered the oddities of the island, your very first night here, as you were walking to the sanitarium. The tree has been somewhat cleaned away, but the roof has not been repaired. Many of the things that were inside of here, including the boats, unfortunately, have been removed. You see no signs of anybody. No signs of Florence or Big Sis. No signs of Gregor. You can see off to the north that many folks have been rushing around the fields to put out the fires. And they seem to have gotten some kind of control over it. You've also noticed that the activity on the roads and even off the roads has started to increase in the half an hour or so that you've been holed up here. There's patrols, it seems. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm still in the boat room, right? The boat house.
Yes. The docks.
Can I look around to see if there's anything I can get a hold of, anything that I can kind of like disguise myself with, anything, because I gotta like do something like that.
You look at. I mean, there's no clothes or anything here. If that's what you're looking for. There's probably old canvas and tarps and things for keeping things batted down, but nothing. Yeah, nothing like clothing.
Any items, any weapons, anything like that?
You can probably scrounge up something like a makeshift club of some kind.
Are there any chairs in here?
Nothing, not like yours. There's like regular chairs. There's like a stool. You want a stool? I'll give you a stool.
That I can stow away?
You can't stow it away. You couldn't stow away the other one either.
What are you gonna do with a chair?
That's his
It's
special
one of my
weapon.
things I can do.
Yeah.
I know, but you can't stow it.
I guess, can I see like I can make a shiv out of something, or
No,
kind of-
I would say you can easily make an improvised weapon. Like we'll call
Alright,
it.
so I'll do it.
No problem. Okay.
I want to try and move to the tree line over here. And you said there's patrols,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna have to time it out and also use the cover of the smoke and the calamity, kind of like just hopefully they're distracted from what's happening, so I can kind of sneak over to there. So what would I have to do that?
Ping where you're trying to go on the map. So you want to go east, past the main entrance.
Because my goal is I want to get to the village. I'm trying to find something that I can use to kind of disguise myself, because I want to attend the mass to see what the hell's going on, but I can't go looking the way I do.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do that.
So roll a stealth at standard difficulty. It's a hidden test, so you won't know necessarily whether you passed or failed. Just give me the number. It wasn't taken from you, Melissa. You crit failed. You deserve to lose it. Plus, we've been playing for like 8 months and you never asked it. So you sneeze.
I rolled a 7.
The 7 is very good. Okay. So you start heading as carefully as you can, looking out the broken walls and the windows of this building to try to make sure that you time your exit carefully. You notice a pack of 3 groundsfolk moving from the docks towards the fields. Some are carrying bows and arrows, some are carrying other types of weapons. They're definitely looking for somebody, whether perhaps you. You also see some of the nurses and orderlies moving about as well. But you time it really, really well, and you're very, very careful. And you start heading eastward, like kind of quickly dashing across the road coming up from the main gate, and then delving into that copse of trees on the southeast corner of the island, without apparently, as far as you can tell, anybody noticing you.
I guess I want to start going from house to house, seeing if they're occupied and if I can like get inside and find some stuff. Okay. So that'd be my plan.
So you kind of creep out You switch some of this. It's like repeating too much. Okay, so you creep out from the trees, hop up, and kind of climb up this little hill. Off to the northeast of the trees themselves is right around here where I'm pinging, is about where they have the mud farms and stuff, and that seems to extend northward and around towards where these little streams begin to kind of curve around the eastern parts of the city or the village. You can see that there are at least 7 or 8 people tending to those mud farms. And you can see that there are a couple people that are in the village itself. One of the buildings in the village appears to be a blacksmith. I don't recall if you came with Big Sis when she came to the village or not to meet the blacksmith, but there is a woman, and you can hear a ding, ding as she seems to be working on something. There's a couple other folks as well that seem to be they're kind of filling up certain buckets and crates with the things. You can see 1 or 2 of them are getting a cart loaded up. Others are putting a horse away. It's not super busy, but it would be risky to go down there.
I guess I got to take a chance. I got to do something to kind of either arm myself or disguise myself. So I want to at least try and get into like the first house that I can get to.
So you move down, and you can see that there is the blacksmith is sort of the southern side of this small grouping of about 6 or 7 different buildings, and you do your best to keep away from her because she definitely seems to be working and paying attention. You can tell that one of the western homes, as you linger behind it, doesn't seem to have any activity. The windows are shuttered. Why don't you go ahead and roll an eavesdrop test to see if you can hear anybody on the inside. As far as you can tell, you don't really hear anything. You think it's...
Can I do like a kind of try to look through things? Is there slats?
It's just sort of shutters, so if you want to open up the shutters, you can certainly try to do that. Doesn't require...
Yeah, I want to like creak one open a little bit.
Okay, so you creak it open just a little bit. I'll roll over your stealth. Doesn't really make any major sounds. You look in, and it's a fairly small building. Doesn't really look too impressive. A home. There are, from what you can tell, there's like right underneath where you're peeking in, like the southwest corner of this building, this home. There's like a table tucked into the corner with some chairs, and then across from that is a bed. To your left, there seems to be a fireplace with some chairs in front of it, and then there's a door built into a kind of rickety wood wall that heads further to the northeast in this room, in this building.
Any signs of life inside?
You don't see anybody moving around. Oh, and I should say, the table, by the way, is the bed that was underneath the window. Sorry.
I guess I'm gonna try and get inside.
Okay. So you climb in, and you flop down on the bed.
And then I take a nap for the next full day.
Melissa is what are you doing? Wasting our money? Wow. Melissa just pulled a divine coincidence. Okay.
What weapon could possibly be in this house?
Okay. You start looking around. Justin, what kind of weapon do you want to get? Hey, Dave, thank you for the raid. We're getting raided.
Quick,
everyone hide. It's like a birthday party. So, there we go.
What type of weapon do I want?
I'm asking you. Keep it as long as it's a reasonable request.
I mean, I want the dragon sword of Xanthith. Can I get that?
No. I already said there's chairs. You could have a chair.
Ooh, a foldable chair?
I'll give you like a pilgrim staff. How about that?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay, so take a pilgrim staff. go for that. It's up in the corner, and you start digging through, and there's clothes. Just work clothes, nothing special. No armor, but definitely work clothes, and you can grab a pilgrim staff.
I want those work clothes to try and. Do they
Okay.
fit me? Because I am quite voluptuous.
I'll say because the bits were donated, they'll fit you. You found a person.
Perfectly,
Yeah,
perfectly
it's
fit
crazy.
you.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Weird. There must be some fat cat running around this neighborhood.
It must be. It's two of you? It's Garfield and Heathcliff in the same place? What? It's crazy.
Here's my question. On my character sheet, do I have to put that in there?
Yeah, so you want to put in a pilgrim staff.
So I don't have any of these weapons. All I have is a.
Okay.
So how do I?
So you'll go ahead and just add a new weapon. There's a button on the underneath where your weapons are listed where you can add a new one, and you'll add. Let me get the stats for you.
You are now well dressed and well armed.
So a pilgrim staff, you're going to want to write these qualities down. First, it's two-handed, and the qualities are defensive, powerful, and pummeling. And because we use alternate damage, it is your brawn bonus +1.
So in details, I put defensive.
Qualities, you want to put defensive, powerful, and pummeling. And don't worry, I know what those mean. So basically, it's the defensive one basically makes it a weapon that allows you to get +10 to your base chance to parry when you're trying to parry attacks with it. Pummeling just means that you can't do grievous injuries, and then also you can't do bleeding, I think. And then
It's a short, medium, or long. Which one is it?
that's for ranged weapons. This isn't
Okay,
ranged
yeah.
weapons. This is just regular.
Any encumbrance?
Don't worry about that. You're nowhere close to hitting your overage.
Right.
Okay, that's good for now.
I get some sweet clothes.
Yep.
And
I didn't
I'm
say
gonna try my-
whoa. I didn't say they were sweet.
I get some below average clothes.
Low as codes. Yeah.
Um,
It's like something from the Gap or something.
yeah. A sweet pair of khakis, a nice light blue shirt,
Cargo pants and some Birkenstocks.
some sensible khakis.
Birkenstocks or kids?
Okay.
And I guess I'm gonna see what else I can kind of. I'm gonna walk around a little bit, I guess, see if I can blend in with the crowd.
Do you
Okay.
forget that you're a cat man?
I want you to recall something. You are a cat person. You are an Ubasti.
Does this outfit not come with a hat?
No. No one else that you've seen on the island has been Ubasti. They're very rare. And these people all live with each other. This isn't a big
I need to find
town.
a hat.
This isn't a big town. Like we're talking a
I don't
couple
even
dozen
think
people.
a hat will help you.
I just want to warn you that I think if you try to, I don't want you to expect to be like, oh, well, it's like a video game where you're just suddenly your disguise is different. So
It's like a hitman. Can I slink around a little bit more, maybe to the next house?
you can no, I don't mind you slinking, but if you're just gonna walk freely in the streets and, hey Jim, how you doing? No, it's probably
He's
not.
doing
I have
good.
on khakis. You can't recognize me in khakis.
Like, oh, you got that cat disease too. Oh, look at that. Okay, so if you move over to the east one though, you're gonna go over to the blacksmith's house, and you know that she was active. There is a little road and a path that you can go across, and there's a couple buildings to the north, or you can go back up into the hills, circumvent around the blacksmith's home, and then get to the southeast building as well. So imagine basically three buildings, and then a road and a mini courtyard in between.
I guess I'll circumvent. I think going to the blacksmith might be treacherous.
Okay.
So, because if there's someone in there tinkering around,
Okay.
so I'm gonna circumvent around the hills.
Well, you get back out and you move around south side, get back up to the hill so she can't possibly see you. You see more people over to the west by the road, going down to the main entrance to the Ailing Isle, and you can see that this southeast area has some kind of moonshine still. There's people that are work at it. It's also a two-story. There's a two-story section of this home, and you can see that the windows are open and there's people moving about. So this doesn't seem like the place that you want to go in.
All right, let's keep moving to the other one. Not the blacksmith. That one's go.
When you
let
go
go.
across and you keep kind of circling around, now you're getting a little bit closer to the mud farms at this point, and pretty soon someone will probably be able to see you. But you do see that there's a stables on the northeast corner of the town.
Let's head to the stables.
So the stables don't have any windows or anything, and the door to the stables seems to be on the west side of the building, which is on the village side. Like you're behind the stables on the east side, and behind you, even further to the east, are those mud farms. So if you wanted to actually go go inside the stables, you would have to go all the way around the building, and that might expose you to other people who.
I checked for any loose slats.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead and roll a scrutinize test? Standard's fine.
All right.
You do in fact find one, and had you not been a corpulent fella, you probably could get between this. You would imagine maybe Mordio could have slid through this, but this might be a little bit difficult for you to get through. Or a child could get through here, or a halfling, or a gnome maybe.
Can I look inside to see if there's.
You peek
like,
inside,
food and
and
value?
it's a waft of stable smells. You hear a whinnying horse or two inside. You can peek and see that there are some tools, shovels, pitchforks, those types of things off to the side. A few things like a bridle saddle hanging from the walls. Not all, like there's 4. It looks like from what you can tell there are 4 stalls in like one area where they have like a bunch of like a hay and feed stacked up as well. Only 2 of the horses seem to be in here currently. 2 of the stalls seem to be filled.
All right. So have I checked every home pretty much?
No, there are others. There's the blacksmith home. Remember, there's basically 3 homes on the south side, 3 homes on the north side. Northeast corner is where the barn is. There's still homes off to the west more.
Can I slink around to the west to see if
2
I
more
can get in those homes?
So you go to these 2 other buildings, and when you peek in this one tiny one, you see Ivo laying down on his bed, being tended to by one of the nurses. He's like grimacing in pain.
Oh boy!
But they don't seem to notice you as you peek in the eastern window.
So I could go in there and interrogate the guy,
It's a very small room.
or I could move on to the next home. And I'm leaving it up to the dice to go in there and do that.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I'm just move to the next home for now. Move to the
Okay.
next home.
You go to the next one. This one also seems to be empty when you peek inside. It's just one. It's like an L-shaped building. No extra walls on the inside. A couple chairs, a bed in one on the south side. There is a staircase going up to a second level, but the second level is very, very small. You would imagine it's just like a loft or something up there.
It's empty. There's no one inside.
You don't see anyone on the ground floor.
Can I find my way in?
Yeah, you pop inside. It's a little clunkier as you come in because it's not a bed that you're hopping. Like you're coming in through a northern window. You look around. There's some food and stuff on the table. You might want to scarf some of that down. There's an oven that isn't on. There's a fireplace, a bed that's been made, a well. It's kind of a nice little quaint home. You look around, a couple knives and things like that. You can grab like a knife if you want.
Yeah, I'll grab a knife.
Okay.
Along my travels, has there been any semblance of a nautical vehicle?
You've only kind of gone around the outskirts of the town, so you haven't seen anything along the outskirts of the town. There's still kind of a central courtyard area that links these buildings, but you've been again circumventing around them.
All right, so I'm going to have to take a little dive towards the center. So let's try and slink towards the center courtyard, see what I
Okay.
can see.
All right, I'm going to ask you for a new stealth test this time. Okay.
And there's also always horses.
Okay. Horses to get across an ocean?
I'm just saying, if he's looking to get somewhere quickly, there are horses.
Can I use a thing?
Yes, go right ahead. Use a fortune point. Okay. god. Okay.
That's better.
So you manage to sneak out and hide in some bushes. And you peek into the courtyard, and you do, in fact, see a boat. It is right outside of Ivo's home.
What?
I like to think that I'm in a bush. You just see my tail like above it, like this the whole time.
They do, in fact, see that, and you're rained on with arrows. But there are people in the courtyard, though. So.
All right, so I've located an exit.
Got a couple items.
I've got a couple items. I have a different disguise. I guess I'm at the move. I've pretty much examined the whole town
as much as you can safely.
All right, so I'm gonna head up to the orchard then, because that's the next place to go to, I guess.
Okay, so we'll cut then.
Not because I see people up here. It's because
sure. Okay, Florence, big sis, you cut the throat of Gerd. You've been hiding in the orchard. You explored a little bit further and found that there's a lot of like these rotted areas to it. The two of you and Gregor, what do you all want to do? It's early afternoon, 2:00 or so. What do you want to do?
I think.
Go ahead.
I was thinking that we were gonna wait a little bit longer than that before we start to try and leave the orchard.
Totally fine.
Yeah, I think generally we were waiting for the hubbub of the service to happen.
Okay.
And that was going to be when we were going to kind of make our way around.
Is one of you gonna, like, because right now you guys are hiding in the orchard. Is one of you gonna go to the edge and sort of spy on some other stuff? Are you gonna look a little further, or because you can't really see from the orchard itself much of anything?
Can we do a heal check? Do you have any bandages? Big Sis?
Big Sis has heal. Big Sis, did you do any heal tests last week?
I don't believe I did.
Okay, what are you all on in terms of your damage tracks?
I'm grievously.
All right, then, yeah. Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay, so do you have any bandages?
I do.
Hey, we're getting raided again. Party wipe. Thank you for the raid, party wipe.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right, so yeah, I have 3 bandages. I don't know that I've really done healing, so I'm good.
Okay, so do you have any laudanum or anything that you want to hit first to try to make this heal a little bit easier, or do you want to just say, hell with it, let's do it?
I do not have laudanum. Do you have any laudanum?
No, I only have mandrake root. But I don't think that does me any good.
Sorry, I was about to say Dorothy Mandrake is not. It was the saint, but it's not. It's Mantooth. It's Mantooth. Dorothy Mantooth was a saint. Okay.
All right. So how hard is the heal check?
Ashley, you should know this. You do all the healing for us in our other game.
For me, grievously, it's challenging.
Challenging. Okay.
For you, it'll be standard.
So all right. So I'm gonna try to heal you first.
And routine is moderate, and then it's like it's an automatic for light.
That's a success.
Okay.
Yay.
So
right,
many
then I'm gonna
raids.
Try for me.
Oh my gosh.
Another
Thank
raid.
you for the raid. Open for adventure.
What?
Very nice.
Oh my gosh.
30 people. Wow. That's I'm nervous now, guys. So many people.
Because they all know we're gonna die.
That's what it is. Yeah, this is like when the band-aid is being peeled off really, really, really slowly.
And just in time for the last episode
Just in
when
time, yeah.
everything goes horribly.
die.
All right. The standard heal for me.
Thank you, Joshua. Yeah, I'm gonna miss this map, but I got a new one for us for next week, so it's gonna be exciting.
I am gonna spend a fortune point and try to do that again.
Go right ahead. So that's 2 fortunes. You're down now.
Yep.
All right.
That's better. All right.
Okay.
So I now go from seriously to moderately.
Okay.
So that's better.
All right.
All right. So we got that out of the way now. What else do we want to do, Ashley?
So how long you want to wait here before you start poking out of the orchard to actually see what the activity is like by the village or by the fields or anywhere else that's centralized?
Probably closer to sundown,
Okay.
like maybe like 4:30ish.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've already had to we've run into people, we've killed people, like trying to be out and about and going here, there, and everywhere. It just hasn't really worked very well.
We'll say
Murdering's
that
exhausting work.
it
Yeah.
really is.
Well, and because we already came across the weird like ritual area, so we know that something weird's going to be happening, and we don't want to be a part of it.
But you two didn't really go in. You two hung back, so all you actually really saw were two people that were prepping something. The only person who's actually technically seen this is Mordio, who you still haven't reunited with.
We heard the weird grumbles, though.
Yeah, that's true. Could have just been someone's stomach. Okay, good bit. I'll say, since you all, like, if you're resting, you can also go ahead and rest and take your peril tracks back up. Don't go all the way up. I would say take it to imperiled. This isn't you're not in a very safe situation, but you can go to imperiled.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Okay, fair enough. So, after a few hours of just resting, and you see off to the west, the sun's starting to come down a bit. It's still there on the horizon, a little bit above it. You start slinking out of it. Why don't the two of you make some awareness tests?
Standard?
Standard's fine. Oh no.
Oh no. Crit fail.
Okay.
And I also failed. So yeah.
Ooh, you get a 69.
Do you want to re-roll that? 69? You can't re-roll the crit, but
yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah. I love it when you guys spend fortune points.
I'm just gonna bits the heck out of anything that needs to happen tonight.
Whoa. That's a big okay, I'm starting to understand Justin's complaints here.
Gosh darn it.
All right. Okay.
Jeffrey, my entire life savings is now in bits form.
Okay, so go ahead and take 10 points of physical peril, Florence, as the two of you begin to leave with Gregor in tow, leaving the orchard. Your foot slips into some kind of sinkhole, like tiny little rotten sinkhole, where your foot just goes down, and you can feel like a little almost like a little crack. It doesn't quite break or anything like that, so you're doing damage, but pulling it out, you can feel that like a cramp begin to form and sort of this terrible pain in your right leg. So take 10 points of physical peril.
Like a solid Charlie horse.
Hello, Elder.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, Charlie horse are the worst. now I'm thinking of that. So when you look out, you can see that there are small groups of people that are beginning to head west. You can see groups of groundsfolk in like groups of 3s and 4s. You can see that some of them are carrying lanterns that aren't lit. It's still somewhat sunlight out. You can see that they seem to have cleaned up to some degree. They're all draped in these kind of nicer clothes, like these greenish robes of some kind. And off to the west they go. Holy Roller, roll an awareness test. Standard's fine. Would you like to re-roll that?
Yeah.
Yes. I love this. I have so much misfortune.
Is that what, 3 or 4 already?
I'm frightened.
I have 4 misfortune already.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And strangely enough, your foot
My luck has run out.
also gets caught in that same thing, and you also get a Charlie horse. It's 8 points of physical peril. But I'll say that Big Sis and Florence, as you are crawling up to the hill where you murdered Gerd, you hear behind you, about 30 yards away, you suddenly hear someone scream as if in pain.
So really, it was a plus. Yeah, otherwise you guys wouldn't know.
I'm just throwing you a bone so I can get Longlee back in the game. But as you go to investigate, you are reunited with the Holy Roller, who is carrying some weapons, by the way.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the 3 of you plus Gregor together. Gregor says, "Oh, you're right, mate. Oh, God, so happy to hear it.
Thank goodness we found you."
Gregor, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm sorry. I was such a dick. I'm so happy to see you right now, buddy.
And he thinks about it for a second, like he's about to say something. bygones are bygones. Water under the bridge, mate. We just gotta get the hell off this island, is what it is.
Real quick, Gregor, got a quick question for you.
Oh, God.
What were you saying before? If I just would have shown some moves, then ...
If you would have shown me some moves, I might have been able to pull some strings and got you on the ship. But as you can see, I am not on the ship, so apparently me befriending you was already seen by the captain, and I don't know. I was just mad, mate. I was just mad. Listen, it's again water under the bridge. Let's just focus. We need to find a boat, and the four of us are gonna get the hell off the island. Are we all agreed?
Can I give? So I have a shiv from the prison.
Yes.
I have a simple weapon from the.
You have an
boat.
improvised weapon. It's
And I have
a
staff.
literal thing. It's called improvised weapon, and you have the staff, and I'll say you have a knife because you took a knife, so you can start handing those.
So
things
I'll
out.
give Gregor a knife because he's a cook. It might be.
Yeah, and he starts flipping it around like all crazily,
He's just like really good at it. Just
looking at the edge of the blade. Oh, that's sweet right there. That's a nice one.
I'll give Big Sis the improvised weapon, and my dog's drinking water behind me.
Okay.
And I'll give Ashley the staff, and I'll keep the shit.
Wait, you did two things. So Big Sis, you have improvised. Okay, got it. Well, they have their weapons.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they got their stuff.
All right, then I'll keep the other three. Then. So I'll
Gregor
keep the shiv.
will keep the knife though.
Yeah, I'll keep the shiv, the improvised weapon, and the.
If we had RP'd this out, you would have had a weapon to your throat when you made noise behind us.
Yeah, unfortunately, all of you failed awareness tests, so this is how it played out. Okay, so Mordio, we're gonna cut over, and we'll come back to the Mordio.
Yes.
Ingman comes to get you around 6 or so, and the sun is still up, but it's certainly dying down. He is dressed in his finest clothes. You see these very ornate, almost like professorial robes. And he's got a hat that he has taken off. He's got his plague mask with him. And he says, Mr. Ulrich, are you ready?
I'm prepared.
And so the two of you start leaving. You also meet up with a few others, Rufflebar and Ray. And as you're walking down the Manor's Hill, Conrad starts explaining some things to you. He says, Mr. Ulrich, I need to reiterate here, we are contractually connected now, and you're about to see some things tonight that might unsettle you. This is perfectly understandable, but I must assure you they are necessary for what we are trying to accomplish here. And I must tell you, you're welcome to write about any of these in either the biopic or within the testaments that you will construct for us. But until then, only we improve your manuscripts, everything you see here tonight is considered utmost privacy. You understand?
I'll do as I see fit.
Follow my lead. Do as you see fit. That's an interesting phrase.
It's work-wise, whatever's under this contract.
Okay. Be careful. Try not to misspeak like that. There are others here who will undoubtedly be suspicious of you. And as you're walking down, you realize that he's leading you towards the church. And there are some people who are lingering outside, some of whom you recognize from your time in and out of the hospital, some of whom you recognize from the dinner party, different doctors and things like that. And you are led inside, and the church is still in its fairly ramshackle, rotten down state. You see that some candles have been set up here and there to give it some light on the inside. The water that had been gathering on the floor has dried off, giving the floorboards a kind of a bloated, squeaky quality to them. But there are rows and rows of seats that are slowly being filled. You can see that an orderly stands immediately inside the door of the church, not doing anything other than staring through that strange mesh hood that covers their head. And you can see that the Reverend Mother Lavender Bone is at the front, or excuse me, at the altar for the church, and she is welcoming everybody with a nod or a wave. And Dr. Ingman leads you to to the first row, second row, and as you sit next to him. He turns to you and he says, "Are you a religious man, Mr. Ulrich?"
No, not quite. I do read about it, but I don't quite follow anything.
Well, I was much the same in my younger days. Never one for worship. Cared more for scientific acumen, medical study. As I got older, I realized what good is all the knowledge if, well, there isn't something more to this life to give it value. It was actually Dr. Zabornak who helped me understand this more than others. Many of us here on the staff, we come from different backgrounds, but we all eventually found one another through shared worship of our uncle. And hopefully you will be counted among them. In time, I am sure again that tonight's events will again unsettle you. Just trust that I have good intentions as far as you're concerned. So as the seats fill out, night there, Squidly. Thanks for hanging out. Don't die. As you hang out there, you can see that bowls have begun to get passed around, and you see a groundsfolk person moving up and down. They're passing out these terrible bowls, and they start coming over in your direction. And you watch that Ingman gets it first, and he takes this paste, and he just starts rubbing it all over his face. And you can smell it from 3 seats away before it even gets to the 2 of you, that it is foul and disgusting. When you look at it, it's like this strange mixture of like these white swirls and these brown swirls, and you start to wonder what exactly is in it. But it's certainly making your stomach kind of turn a little bit. Roll a toughness test at routine.
Is it similar to the smell in the greenhouse?
Loosely, but not quite.
What was the difficulty on the toughness?
Routine's fine.
Routine.
Switch it off the map for a bit.
Just missed it.
Okay. So you cough up a little bit in your throat, and manage to kind of swallow back down the bile.
What is this?
Take 7 points of physical peril. It is for, it's part of the... He starts like 2 or 3 sentences. It is part of our rituals here. Just follow what I do. And he begins to start wiping it on you. Do you let him?
Yeah, let's wipe away.
You what?
Let's wipe it, yeah.
Okay, so he starts smothering your face and the exposed parts of your hands and your arms, and it's warm and pasty, and the smell just goes up into your nostrils and just moves in there and stays there for a while. But then you pass the bowl on, and you see everybody else is doing the same. The Reverend Mother is going on and on about certain things here, like the metaphorical meaning of this, talking about rot and the cycle of life and all sorts of things like that. What were you going to say?
Were there people from the ship that I knew here, or is it just all like islanders?
You don't see anybody from the ship. It's just groundsfolk, nurses, doctors.
Okay.
So after about a half an hour of very scripture being read, peculiar scripture that you are not familiar with, if you'd like, you can roll an incantation test at standard. If you don't have incantation, flip it to fail.
Yeah, it'll be flip to fail.
Okay. But this is more just for identification. You're not actually casting or anything like that. So 73, yeah, it's not recognizable to you. I'll say this though, this particular church has claimed as a Reverend Mother to be the denomination being a follower of the martyr, and this most certainly this is language. This is rhetoric that doesn't sound consistent with forgiveness, with caring for the meek and the weak. There's frequent reference, I should say, to things like rot and disease and the cycle of death and life, the rebirth, and how gardens always grow and bloom more beautifully when they grow atop the sacrifices of that which came before it. It's language, rhetoric, very much consistent with that kind of imagery. After a little while, another person moves down the hall, and they start passing more things down the actual rows. And this time it's a plate, and you can see that there's piled on top of it these chunks of meat. And one at a time, people start biting into it really briefly. You see Ingman grab it, take a bite into it, these old gnarly teeth that he has. You see a dribble of this brown liquid coming down his mouth, which, as you notice, has some sores and stuff that are peeking out below whatever makeup he was using to cover himself. And he motions for you to do the same.
Now I have a sour stomach. I'm not sure if I can handle this.
If you are to take communion, this is part of the process. I understand it's a bit disturbing, but again, it will improve your constitution moving forward and protect you for the rest of the evening.
So they're passing around a raw chunk of meat.
Raw chunk of rotten, disgusting meat.
Okay.
If you don't figure it out, Ashley, I'll talk a little bit about it after in the post. In our talking Ailing aisle.
All right, I'll take a nice sniff. It can't be any worse than what's on me.
Okay.
And then go for a nibble.
Go ahead and roll toughness as a standard this time. It's going to get a little harder. Okay.
Oh.
And you once again nearly sick it up. Take 7 points of physical peril as your stomach just... But you keep it down as best you can, and Dr. Ingman pats you on the knee, his pasty, rotten, dried out, back off, Ashley, right on your knee, and is like, good. And then you see everyone one by one start to get up, and they start to leave. They leave their rows, starting from the back, working their way forward. So beginning with the groundsfolk, and then eventually the people in front, the doctors and the nurses. And as they do, they're walking out the back door of the church, but they're walking past the Reverend Mother, who is, you see, scooping from this large, some sort of large like punch bowl, and scooping and ladling into these goblets some off-white liquid. And everyone drinks, and then she does some sort of blessing on their foreheads as they step out. And eventually it comes to you and Ingman, and Ingman and the Reverend Mother exchange cordial, if icy, greetings to one another, but they don't get petty. And then he turns and he waits for you as well. and she offers you a goblet of what looks to be off milk, curdled and old. Do you drink it?
Oh, we collected this earlier, I think.
Yes, you did. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the water closet after this one.
Interesting that the Holy Roller didn't attend services.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where he is.
And now I would like you to roll a toughest test of challenging.
You're gonna get the tummy aches.
Oh, I passed it this time.
You chug it down, and she seems remarkably impressed. And when you stand next to Ingman, he says, "There, Mr. Ulrich, you're getting sturdier already. Excellent.
That's some chunky yogurt.
Yes, well, you grow used to it. Quiet taste." You step out the back of the church, and you can see that there's a procession that has begun to form in twos. And so Conrad is on one side, you're on the other, and you're just beginning this procession. Everyone's kind of lining up, waiting for those behind. A couple of people have torches. It's dark out at this point. And then the procession moves. And we're going to cut back to the orchard. The sun is nearly down. What are the three of you doing?
Hey, guess what I found? There's a boat in the middle of the town. It's gonna be hard to get to. Maybe we can get to it in the dark of night. But we got to make a decision. Do we want to go try and find our last pal, Morio, or do we want to just get in this boat and book it?
And your best friend?
I mean,
since
he's
childhood?
not our only pal. I mean, my cousin's here.
Yep.
Daisy's here somewhere. There are a lot of people that we would be leaving behind.
Devil's advocate. Last time we went back in, I thought of a 3-story window on my belly. So,
Important question. How big is the boat?
yeah, Jeff, how big is the boat?
You can fit a couple people, probably maybe 5 to 8, depending on their sizes. It's a rowboat too, so like you're going to be rowing in the ocean.
Well, 2 of us are already corpulent, so.
I would say the 4 of you, plus probably we'll say maybe 3 or 4 more people.
So we're at an impasse. Go back into the maw of madness that we keep on jumping back into, or just cut our losses and get out of here.
Also,
let's acquire the boat first.
Also, there's another boat somewhere. You do know there's 2. You just didn't see the second. You only saw 1.
Do we know there's 2 boats?
You know from the first night there were 2 boats in the storage.
The only place I did not look was in the sanitarium. It's the only place I didn't look. So, again, we're talking about I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. I've been alone for long enough. I will go with you. All right? And it's been rough by myself.
It's been like 18 hours maybe.
That's the choices we got. So
actually 12 hours maybe.
I'm leaving this up to you 2.
I am fairly confident of my cousin's abilities if he is given an opportunity to make his own way.
You haven't seen him for quite some time.
Yeah. Well, since the party. So like a day and a half.
I can tell you I didn't see him when I was locked up. All I saw was Dwally. I didn't see Daisy. Is it Daisy?
Daisy, yeah.
I didn't see Daisy. I asked about. I have no idea where they're at. As far as I know, they could be anywhere on this island.
You've seen Dwally, Wilfred, that's her nephew. You've seen Adrian and Paul, the halflings.
Yeah. So I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll go with you. I'm a team player.
We have to remember at this point, it's basically the island versus us, and we are greatly outnumbered.
1v1.
So
Indeed.
So do we go headfirst into the mall, or do we try and sneak out?
I do not see a benefit of going back into the building. I potentially see a benefit of seeing, as we found each other wandering around the island, we may be able to find a other members of our group similarly wandering outside, I do not see the benefit of going back into that building again.
The longer we stay out here, the longer we stay on this island, the more we risk ourselves of getting attacked or found out. So it's got to be go to A or go to B and go. It's got to be one of those.
I would be okay leaving. How about you? Are you okay to leave? Florence, are you okay to leave Daisy?
I mean, not really, but Florence is a fop, so they're very self-serving, so she'll know that at this point, possibly from her other adventures, this is her one chance to really get out of this situation.
It's your best friend since childhood.
I
Wow.
know.
Excuse me. Taco burrito conversation, nachos. All right.
I know.
Okay.
So I'd say it's got to be unanimous. So either
Let's just get the boat first.
Gregor
Let's go.
says, let's get the fuck out of here. I don't care about the rest of them. Let's just go.
and this guy's always been a fan of me, so I like him. So
There is also the possibility, however slight, that if we can get ourselves back to safety, that we could send others back here
that's true.
to rescue the rest of the
That's outside the box thinking.
folks that are
Oh,
here.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Sure.
We would do no one any good if we also perish here.
You're speaking my language now.
I'm glad you approve.
Well, good. He didn't read sarcasm, so he's like, meh.
Gregor, I got an
It wasn't
itch.
sarcastic.
While she's thinking, Gregor, could you get this? It's been bothering me since I was strangled and put under goo. Could you scratch my back real quick, Gregor?
You're pushing.
And I'm
right?
gonna come behind
push
you,
it.
and I'm just gonna like smack where you're.
I got
sitting.
it. That got the spot.
All right. So the sun has gone down. The moon has come up. Long ago, somebody left with the cup. If Adam was here, I think he would probably get the reference. So, what's the plan?
Go get the boat.
Okay.
Let's go get the boat.
So the four of you head southward towards the Groundsfolk village. As you approach, you don't notice any movement. You don't notice any lights. Has anyone got a torch out or lantern light out? Anything? It's dark out at this point.
I think it might be not within our benefit to have a torch out because we'd be seen.
Mm-hmm. But you also need to see.
Mm-hmm.
None of you have night vision or anything like that.
No,
I'm a
I'm
cat,
pretty
though.
sure I've had matches on me.
We
that
had
I've used.
torches.
No, you have them. You guys have your things. So I'm just saying if you
Yeah.
have, if you want to light stuff up, then you need to.
What do you want? Do you want to clandestine this? I know exactly where it's at. I just worry about us being caught.
I mean, it's dark out. We don't have night vision, so somebody's gonna have a torch out. So Florence will hold the torch, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
Just kind of keep a cloak on it, so maybe it's kind of like only going in the forward direction.
She's like holding it lower, you know.
Okay.
As much as we can best of both worlds, this like be able to see and not be seen.
So, Holy Roller, you lead them towards the Groundsfolk village. There are, if you recall, there's 3 buildings on the north side of it. 2 of them are homes. The one in the northeast is the stables. And then there were 3 buildings on the south side. The central was the blacksmith. The southeast was a still plus a bigger building. And then the southwest and the northwest were just small homes. And you know that Ivo was in the central north building. Where do you want to make your approach? And you do recall that the boat was by Ivo's home, out in front in the courtyard area.
So let's head towards Ivo's home. Here's the plan. Okay. We get the boat. We bring the boat to the stables. Lock up the boat to the stables. Get these horses to get us to the edge of the island to get the boat in the water. That's the plan, I think.
Okay.
That sounds like a lot of noise to me.
Well, they're gonna find us at some point, and I think Plan A would be see if we can sneak it out. Plan B is get into the stables and get going if we
Oh
get caught.
God, we have a map.
Don't worry, I've had this map since like the very beginning.
Okay.
Because like it's the Groundsfolk Village, so I assumed at some point we might need it. So
So if we can
it's
sneak
our last
it,
chance to use
we
it. So
sneak
I'm using it.
so let's approach near Ivo's home.
That's what I've done. So,
Can I look inside that window again to see what's going on inside?
so you know that right here where I'm pinging is Ivo's home. Right here where I'm pinging now is the stables.
Where's the boat?
You were in the stables
The boat,
earlier.
again, was inward by the courtyard. You're on the north side of his home.
Was there any sort of cart or anything in the stables?
He did not see any, but you've seen some. So you imagine that they're probably around here, but they could have been in use during the day.
Let's see if I can sneak a peek inside of Ivo's home again.
Okay. So roll a stealth test. Would you like to re-roll that?
I know we got left just one.
Just one.
No.
Okay. So, as you want to that eastern window you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the same window I looked in the first time.
Okay. So when you let me roll. So as you come up to the window, you look inside, and as you do, you see that Ivo is sitting at a chair in front of his fireplace, and he is, as far as you can tell, and he's got kind of bandages all over him, and it's fairly dark inside. You can see that there's a dying candle that's barely giving off any light from a table. The fireplace isn't going.
I'm trying to work our way in. Do we want to sneak by him or work our way inside?
Why would we go inside? We're just getting the boat, right?
Well, maybe if we completely subdue him, then he can't alert anybody.
We should see if there's other people around first before we kill him.
I said subdue. Jesus. Yeah, so let's go take a peek in the. Someone else want to take a peek in the stables? Since my stealth ain't so great.
Should be able to see actually into the room now. Just kind of messed with it a bit. Forgot I did dynamic lighting on this. So, but because you don't have any sort of dynamic light, you're not really getting a good view on the inside. There's only that dying ember. So what's the plan?
How about one of you two go look inside the stable?
How difficult of a stealth was this?
You always roll stealth at standard because you don't know what the difficulty is. So, I would say at this point, if you're looking to not alert anybody, everyone can go ahead and roll.
I passed.
Okay. Justin, I'll just carry yours over.
Oh no.
All right.
Actually, stuff's just clanging against walls. Look how nervous she is.
I think it's great. Okay, so who's going and checking out the stables?
Big sis.
Okay,
Me.
Big Sis, you come over to the stables. It's a double door. You creak them open. You look inside, and you can see that there's the horses all seem to be at this point. Where is it? Hang on one sec. Trying to grab this thing. No, I just took the whole thing. That's too many. All right, so you go inside, and you can see that there are 4 different horses that seem to be in their stalls, a couple pitchforks and things on the ground, etc. As you get to the edge, though, you do notice right around the corner, parked, right where I'm pinging, is a wagon, currently unhitched to anything or anyone.
I would like to bring that wagon back over to where the boat is.
Okay. You don't know where the boat is yet because you guys haven't come around. If you want to go around and show them Holy Roller.
So I'll go back then. So I found the cart, so then I'll go back to where they are to tell them that I found a
You
cart.
should be able to see the map, so you can move your character a little bit if you want.
Can I move around?
A little bit.
Or?
Just do a little by little, because as you move inward, I have to describe what you see and all that kind of stuff. So
I'm gonna take a peek around the outside of the house,
okay,
like around the southern side.
You do. Again, you don't have the light. Florence has the light, so you're not getting a ton of light, and the village is very dark. There is no light peering really out of these windows or doors. When Florence, you come up and add a little light for him from your torch or your lantern, whatever you've got, you do in fact see that there is a boat right here, and you can see that the courtyard is empty. So
Let's try to hook this sucker up then, I guess.
even though, by the way, this says that it's right side up, this is actually upside down. You can't flip it over like that. So, but yeah, it's like it's
Okay.
so you know.
So let's hook this guy up.
All right. So now I'm gonna go grab the cart, bring the cart to where the boat is.
Okay. So
Should we deal with Ivo first? Because that's gonna make a lot of noise. And should we check and make sure there's not other people in the houses? Because yeah, that courtyard's empty, but
Yeah. Well, how about Big Sis check this house through the window? If it's somewhat clear, then you can, because you're the one who's stealthy right now. Look through this window, see how it's going there, and then if things are somewhat clear, pop in there and give him a little hello.
all of you are stealthy right now, just so you know.
Oh,
That's a little meta. Like we don't actually
All
know
of
like
yours.
how each other did.
okay. So then I'll go inside. Do you want to go inside, Ashley, and deal with Ivo?
I have no problem going in and taking care of Ivo.
Then I'll go over here and I'll peer through this window.
oh, I was muted. I'm really wounded, so
Okay. So I'll go here and I'll peer through the window that's there.
Okay.
So I'm gonna walk over there. I'm gonna drop it.
Okay. You peer in, and it's dark. No light on the inside. There's no candles lit, no torches lit.
I don't have a torch.
Roll an eavesdrop test. How about that? See what you can hear.
Wasted all my gold rolls earlier.
Silence.
That's what happened.
Silence. You hear the sound of silence.
Ashley, do you want to over here and look through with your little torchy?
No, you looked in. You didn't see anything, and you heard something. It was totally silence. As far as you know, coast is clear, my friend. But if you want to bring her over, that's fine to get a better look.
Yeah, because she's got the torch. She could like light it up a little bit.
Okay. So when you look inside, and you shine, and you do shine some light, you notice that there is a room with multiple beds, and you can see that there is, in fact, a person inside of this building that is waiting by a door. Ugh. Trying to move this. All right, I'm just going to get rid of that entirely. There you go. You can see that there's a person somewhere inside that's kind of waiting there in the dark, not laying down, just sort of standing and waiting. And as the light rushes into the home, you see him turn around. He's brandishing and holding a weapon, and then he shouts, "They're here!"
It's an ambush.
And
Damn it.
Go ahead and roll your initiatives. Remember to click your tokens and then hit the initiative button.
Gosh darn it.
Sorry, friends.
History rolled well.
Time for Holy Roller to get to work.
All right, let's get that.
Jesus
And Gregor.
Christ.
What's the
No.
matter, Ashley? What's wrong?
Gregor.
No!
What's the matter? Oh yeah, Greg.
Orderly 3!
What? What are you looking at? What's the matter? Everything is fine. Everything's fine. All right. So, Holy Roller. What do you want to do? You're up first. We are in initiative order now. You've heard him shout. That's all you know, by the way. You don't know that I just rolled initiatives on like 50 other things. Granted.
Hold on. Give Holy Roller a second. I gotta find my list of moves that I have.
Okay.
Okay. That way, when I get artsy with this, we can have some fun.
Switch over.
Your last opportunity before they slit your throat.
Yeah. I'm gonna have some fun before I get murdered horribly.
Uh-huh.
All right. So I guess I got my moves up.
We found the boat, and now we die.
Can I crash through the window and attack this dude?
Absolutely, you can.
Let's do that. So I guess AP. How does it work with going through windows and movement?
It's like a rider thing where you climb. You got enough movement to get over. It's fine.
All right, so I'm gonna sit right here.
Okay,
And
so you
get on
hop
this guy.
inside, and you see this guy right here.
And I notice that there's some bouncy beds by me, which is perfect
Okay.
for the high flying holy roller.
Okay.
So the move I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on. So first off, let's see what's in. We're going to do a call out, I guess. Is that what it'd be?
A called shot is going to increase. Like, you can do it, but the problem with called shots is that it does in fact increase its difficulty depending upon what you target.
Actually, then I'll just do a regular shot. I'm gonna use like my staff.
Okay.
I guess.
Pilgrim staff.
And
1
I'm
AP
gonna use-
to hop in the window.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next AP is going to be attacking with my staff.
Do you want to do
With
any
the-
sort of take aim or anything first, which will increase your chances?
Yeah, I'll take aim.
Okay. So then, 1 AP to take aim, 1 AP to attack. So this will be at routine.
So this is going to be. I'm going to do what's called the turnbuckle tabernacle.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So I will bounce on the bed, jump in the sky, do a full flip, staff in hand, ready to come down, and now we're going to see
Okay.
how it happens. So what I have to roll the.
These are your intentions with this attack.
Yeah. We're going to see what happens with the staff as it's coming down.
Okay, go for it.
Nice.
So just roll the staff.
Routine. Roll your. It's a simple
routine.
melee attack. So I'm not sure if you fully put in your staff.
Yeah.
You can just roll simple melee at routine. That'll be a hit. Roll damage.
Nice.
All right, so that's just D6.
I believe I said it was your BB plus 1. So roll a D6.
Uh huh.
So roll 1d6, and then what's your brawn bonus?
7. So 8.
Plus 1 is 8, so you just did 12 points of damage to this here fella.
So as I came down on the full flip, spinning like a top in the air, bam, right on the top of his freaking head.
Okay.
That's what happens. The turnbuckle tabernacle.
All right. He will move down to moderately. 2 steps. All right. Oops, I forgot to roll my actual d6 first. And
I
he's
just
good,
hope
he's
that
good
there's
for
an
injury.
orderly
Okay.
in this room.
All right, so your turn is done. And so next it'll go to Orderly 3.
Where is he? Where is he?
So the good news is that Orderly 3 is not in the room with you. The bad news is that these things have crazy movement. Let me check what they had.
He burst through the wall.
I remember they had like really a lot of movement.
He's like Kool-Aid Man, like
Right?
yeah.
Exactly what I was picturing.
Hey, buddy.
So
It's been a while.
So you're gonna see the Orderly burst out of a southern door, one of the southern buildings, the blacksmith building. Is gonna look. He's gonna see light coming from the corner, and he's gonna start running in that direction. So I've spent 2 AP at this point to kind of move over here. He's gonna see Gregor and Big Sis, and he's gonna just run right up into them. That should be enough for me to get there in 2 moves. Yeah, it's 9 yards, which is technically his movement, but he could have gotten. But I'll say he moved out, tried to assess, and then did a second move, and so now he's next to the 2 of you. I think I'll go 50-50. 1 to 3, it's Big Sis. 4 to 6, it'll be Gregor. So it's going to be Big Sis, and he will attempt a chokehold on old Big Sis. So he comes running out. Doesn't have any weapons. Just charging at you thunderously. And that's going to be athletics. You will be, if I succeed, you're going to be resisting also with athletics. Sorry. Here we go. All right, that's a success. You can roll athletics. Actually, you can't roll athletics yet because you don't have any AP because your turn hasn't come around. So you are choked. So this is going to be 1d10 plus its brawn bonus. And so its brawn bonus is 9. So 9 plus 1 is 10. So take 10 points of physical peril.
Okay.
As he runs, looks for a second, gets his bearings, charges at the two of you who are being drenched by this torchlight, reaches out, grabs Big Sis by the neck, slams her against the wall, and just, and then it'll be Big Sis's turn.
Okay. So see if this is something that I can do kind of given my current situation.
No, you fail.
So
You're choked, so you have to actually resist. You can't do anything until you resist a chokehold.
okay. Standard.
So yeah, I just made it a standard.
Athletics.
Okay, and so you do manage to break out of the chokehold itself. What do you want to do?
Okay. So is that like an AP to do that?
No, I think it's just a resist. So, and if you would have failed it, you basically wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Okay. What I would like to do, and let me know how many AP this will take. I want to put some spider venom on my weapon.
Okay, you really should think to do that.
And
prior.
I had it in my head that I was going to do it when Ashley and I were hiding out last session, but I didn't say it.
Okay,
So I didn't
fair
want to
enough.
say that I did it when I didn't say it.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, you have one weapon in your hand. You're allowed to have one weapon in hand. That's fine. And so you're basically taking something out and applying it, so it's an AP, or you're manipulating an item, so that's fine.
Okay.
All right.
And then I want to attack him with the weapon that's got the spider venom on it.
Go for it. You can roll this at routine. You're outnumbering him with Gregor, and he's fairly big. Do you want to take aim or anything first? You had one more AP you could have used before you attack.
I already rolled it.
Okay. That's a fail.
And I didn't. Yep.
Okay, you have one AP left. Do you want to stay here? You want to run away? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll try to move. Maneuver.
Okay, so you take a maneuver. It's just 2 steps away, so you just get kind of out of immediate range. Okay.
Yep.
Gregor will go next. Gregor will go ahead. Did you move Big Sis?
Yes.
Did you?
You gotta move around the map.
Oh.
On the map.
Sorry.
You have control.
I'll keep my 1 AP to try to. Wait.
Okay.
He went. No. Yes, I'll move. Sorry.
He will go again before you go again. So if you want
Then
to keep
I
the
will.
AP, it's fine.
Then I will bank the 1. Yes.
Okay. All right, so you stay there. Gregor will go ahead, and I'm going to keep it really, really simple to get this moving. Gregor is going to take. She's going to take aim twice, and then he will attempt to attack this guy. So let's make this a D100. I don't actually have his thing fully filled out, so I'm just going to roll a D100. Sorry, I didn't mean to roll that twice. So the 10 is good, and so you see him just with fists, or no, with knife, because you gave him the knife, and so he just starts stabbing away.
There we go. There we go.
And it seems to have literally no effect. It tears through
There we go.
tears through the clothing, but it doesn't seem to pierce the actual skin of this thing, and the orderly seems to be completely unaffected. Florence, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna go inside because I know we saw
Okay.
that other guy and he yelled, so
Okay.
I feel like that's what she would react to first.
So you climb inside. Next thing, what do you
there
want to
we
do
go.
next?
I'm gonna attack the guy who is in here.
All right, there you go.
Oops.
It's all right. So go ahead. You can roll this at routine. There's 2 of you outnumbering him.
Yeah, so I'm gonna attack first. 15. my here.
Okay, so that'll do
Let's pass.
6 points of damage to him, which will move him down to seriously, because that will do damage to him. So I will roll 2d6s to see if he takes an injury. He does not.
Is he armed?
He is indeed.
Okay, and so now I'm gonna do disarm. I'm gonna make a coordination test, and they must resist or be disarmed.
Okay, go ahead and make your coordination routine again.
Fail.
Unsuccessful. And that's the end of your turn. And then it is the grounds folks' turn. So first, this guy who was just yelling at the two of you, yelling about the two of you, will go ahead and...
Hold on. Did Ashley get a bonus for us outnumbering him?
Yeah, that's why I said routine.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
okay,
routine.
just make sure. Yeah.
Okay. So he will go ahead and take a swing at Florence. So this is going to be challenging. And you see him, he's just going to swing at you with a cudgel. Easy enough. And that'll be a success. Did you take any... do you have any AP left? No, you didn't, because you moved, you attacked, and then you did disarm. I think I'm going to go ahead and spend some of the hard-earned misfortune points that I have here. I'm going to explode one of these D6s for damage. And add a little bit to it. Oh, hey, look, and that's going to explode.
No.
So we're going to go... This is going to be... it looks like I rolled a 1, 11, 12, 16 points of damage.
I'm slain.
Do you have any fate points?
I have 1, so that's it.
Okay, so you use it, put yourself in grievously, and it looks like to you, Holy Roller, that she is dead as he with his cudgel just whacks her in the back of the head, and you can see bits of blood and bone just go flying onto the bed. And she seems on the verge of falling down, but she actually rights herself. And although she seems vacant in the eyes for a moment, she stays up there. And then he is going to spend his next AP to maneuver away. And that's his turn. Then, coming from inside the other room, another one of these grounds folks will start running in. We'll look at the two of you, see Florence on the verge of falling over, and he will instead go ahead and target old Holy Roller. And I think what I'll attempt to do, so 1 AP to move, and then, yeah, I think he'll just attack. Nothing special. And so this, again, will be challenging. He comes running in. You can see he's got this big splitting maul in his hands, and he will go ahead and swing at you. And that'll be a success. That'll be 9 points of damage, and I think I'm going to go ahead and explode one of those with my hard-earned misfortunes. So that's going to be 4 plus 5. It's 14 plus 4. So I rolled a 1 on my d6. So add 5, makes it 14, plus the 4 I just rolled. So 18 points of damage to old Holy Roller.
I'm seriously wounded.
Okay, go ahead and roll 2 d6s. Okay, you're good. You dodge an injury. All right. Then you're going to see, those of you who are outside, the doors start busting open. And you see people start running out into the middle of the courtyard. So I'll give you some light on these so you can kind of see where they're coming from. As some of them are carrying torches, and people begin to start descending out of these various buildings. So you see 1 come out of the building I just pinged. You see 2 come out of the building that I just pinged. You see 1 come out of here. And so there's 4 in the courtyard now. Okay, follow? And then it's Nurse Prentice's turn, who will come out of the same building that the orderly was in, and she will step out off to the side a bit, just watching. Then it'll be Ivo's turn, who will also come out of his room, of his building, and he will look around, and he looks to be pretty beat up. He's got bandages and stuff. You guys screwed him up something fierce, but he has gotten some healing, and he's going to come over to where the orderly is, and he'll have 1 AP left to just do something, and so I'm going to have him take a swing at Gregor, because that's the only person that he can actually reach. All right. That'll be a miss. Okay. And then it'll come all the way back to the Holy Roller. What would you like to do?
All right, I'd like to do a takedown of the guy that's right in front of me.
Okay. Make it routine.
Be routine. What's takedown based off of again?
It's going to be coordination, unless from a standstill. Like if you're just in a close proximity like this, it's coordination. The only way you can use athletics is if you like kind of run and charge at them first, but you can't. It's too close quarters.
All right, I got a crit success.
Very nice.
And so he can't resist. So he is taken
right.
down.
So what happened? Let me explain the situation that occurred.
Okay.
I kicked him in the stomach, threw his head between my legs, and did the Apostles power bomb on him. Slammed him on his back, and now he is taken down.
Apostles power bomb. Was that one of Jeremy's or was that one of yours?
That one was mine, I believe.
Nice. Very nice. So he is on the ground. You have 2 AP left. Remember that you can, when a person's prone, that means it's an extra point. It's an extra D6 of damage when you roll your fury die.
So yeah, I'm gonna strike with my staff again.
All right.
So that would be.
So it'll be routine, unless you wanted to take aim to make it easy.
We'll do routine, and it's simple melee.
Yep. Just roll simple melee. That's fine.
And it hits.
All right. So now roll 2 D6s. All right. Roll another D6 because one of those exploded. All right. So you're up to 14. What's your brawn bonus?
7.
It's 21 plus 1 is 22. I think that's actually enough to just kill him outright. Let me double check. Pretty sure.
Maybe
22.
maybe.
No, 22
No.
is the final tier. 22 is the final tier and has to exceed it. So you did, however, move him 1, 2, 3 steps. Oh boy.
Can I strike again then?
You cannot attack twice in one.
Okay.
So he is basically on the verge of death, however.
Injured?
Oh yeah, thank you. Roll my die. Good. Okay. So you have 1 AP left. You can hold on to it. At this point, you've already knocked him down. You've already done stunt. So unless you want, you can either move or just hang on to it.
I'll just hang on to it, I guess.
Okay. Good deal. Then it's going to be the orderly's turn, who is going to look at Big Sis. I'm going to take aim twice. And
Oh, hell.
No, I'm going to take aim once, and then I'm going to attempt a subdue action, which is, again, to attack without trying to kill you. So this will make this routine, and then he is going at you with his iron hard fists. But again, he's not trying to kill you, though. So, that's cool.
It doesn't make it any better.
I do miss, but I'll go ahead and spend one of them hard-earned misfortune points that I got lingering around. Let's see. Oops, wrong one. Let me do...
How many more of those we got?
Hang on. I'm trying
2
to
more.
remember. Misfortune. Okay, so there we go. That should work right there. All right, so let me re-roll that. And that is a crit success,
Gosh, freaking darn it.
which means you do not get to take any damage or take any sort of parry. And right now it's doing 9. 1d6 fury die. I rolled a 3 on the roll, so I'll go ahead and spend another one of my hard-earned misfortune, and I will explode that 3, which means it's going to go up to 15. So 15 plus 6 is 21. Plus 4 is 25 points of damage. How we looking?
I would have been slain.
It's subdue, though. So you are effectively you're basically just incapacitated at this point. So let me see if it actually says anything specific. So yeah, it's basically you intentionally avoid inflicting injuries or dealing enough damage to render a foe slain by your melee weapon attack. But I'm going to say he is effectively just beat you down into a pulp to the point where you are unable and you are out of the fight. Not dead, not slain.
So I can't use a fate point because it wasn't going to kill me.
It wasn't going to kill you. It wasn't going to slay you. It wasn't going to injure you. So in this case...
But I still have to roll for injury.
That's a great question, actually. Go ahead and roll for injury, and then you can always use your fate point for that. So go ahead and roll 3 d6s.
All right.
Let me double check his fists to make sure. I think it's actually 4 d6s. Yeah, his fists are vicious. All right, you dodge injury, but you are laying down on the ground, completely beaten into a pulp and effectively out. So I'm going to skip over then to Gregor, who at this point is freaking out, and he is going to attempt to run. And so that means quite literally run, full breakneck speed north. And so he'll have 3 to his damage threshold, as the 2 of them that are next to him will go ahead and make attacks. So Orderly first will attempt with his iron hard fists. Will fail again. Wow. Look at Gregor getting away. And then we'll do Ivo, who will swing at him with his sword. Also fail. And so Gregor is going to run off the map. All right. Florence, your turn. You are... Basically, you thought you were dead probably for a second.
I don't know.
What do you want to do?
I guess what she'll do is she'll take aim and she'll attack this guy in front of her.
Make it easy?
Yeah.
Go for it. He is still laying on the ground. So if you hit, you'll do extra damage, and you'll basically kill him. He's like grievously. If you hit, he's dead. If you don't hit, you're dead.
I hit him.
All right, he is dead.
Okay.
Got one more in this room. You've got 1 AP.
I'm gonna take cover behind the bed.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so then it's going to be the grounds folks' turns. This guy who's in the room with you is going to continue to shout, and he's going to say things like, "He's in here! He's in here! He's in here!" Or they're in here, I should say. And so he is going to come over in front of Holy Roller and attempt a takedown. Just try to take you down to the ground. That's what he's going to do.
You don't take down the Holy Roller. He takes you down.
We'll see. So it's going to be standard coordination. And away we go. That's a fail. And so he is done. Then you're going to see... One of these guys is going to run in.
I'm locked in here with you.
You see one guy run in here, but that's going to be the extent of his movement. Let me switch them, actually, since he had the light, and so I can leave the light out there. So one of these guys is going to come run all the way in. You see somebody else running in, too, but this one is going to be able to get all the way in to about there, but be unable to do anything. This lady is going to run a bit. And you got another one running up. Prentice will go next. And she'll start shouting to you all, "We have your friend the ogre, if you give up yourselves now, we promise she won't be harmed. And perhaps neither of you will as well. And so she's just calling out from somewhere in the courtyard. Ivo will go next. He'll see the lamplight, the lantern light coming out of the window, and he will come over to the window itself, and he will see Holy Roller on the inside, and he'll look at you, and he'll say, "We were told not to harm you. I can forget that quite easily. You continue fighting, all sorts of harm's gonna come to you." And that'll be his turn. And then Holy Roller. You've got the window is blocked. You've got two people in here with you. You got Florence in the corner who just took a brutal hit to the head. You've got one of the nurses shouting that they have Big Sis. You don't know it, but Gregor, he's going to be fine. Maybe. He ran away. What do you want to do?
How can I believe that you're not going to hurt us?
He looks at you and he says, "On my word, I will not hurt you. I swear it."
It's basically just me versus them right now.
You're in pretty deep shit, yeah. It's up to you, buddy. What do you feel like doing?
Don't believe him. Don't believe him.
Hey, you just got your ass kicked by an orderly. Why don't you back off?
Hey, I've had my ass kicked by many orderlies, okay?
We're talking about in-game, Justin. Quit trying to steal drugs from hospitals. All right.
Well, the way I see it, whether I'm knocked out here or go with you lightly, you're going to take me with you. So I'm not going down without a fight. So let's start off with a called shot on the man in front of me.
Okay. What are you targeting?
I'm going to target his leg, his knee.
Okay. You are surrounded, backed up against a window, outnumbered in this engagement, and you're doing a called shot. I'm making this arduous. Okay. That is a fail. You sweep the leg, but it's tight quarters. Ivo probably reaches in with his sword and kind of taps you on the shoulder to kind of throw your balance off a bit. You can't quite get anybody. The one standing immediately in front of you to the south is the one that's taken damage. The one standing to the left of that one has not taken any damage. Ivo, you wouldn't know this, but took some damage earlier in the day. Also got healing, so
Can I knock out the man in front of me?
you can certainly try. Well, actually, a knockout requires a person to be defenseless or surprised, and they are not.
Okay, all right. A stunning blow to the man in front of me.
That's fine. Sure. Athletics test.
And what is this at? Arduous still?
No, this one will be. I'll make this one just challenging. It's also the called shot. Called shot. It's if it hits, it's great, but the problem is that you have to increase the difficulty. Okay. That is a fail, sir.
And I guess I'll bank.
Okay.
There's really nothing else I can do.
All right. So the orderly will take a moment to pick Big Sis up and throw her just over his shoulder without much effort whatsoever. And so that'll use up some AP, and then he'll start moving over to where Ivo is with Big Sis, who I'm going to take off in tow. Florence, in the corner, what do you want to do? You've heard the same things that Holy Roller heard. Decide for yourself. Don't forget, we've got your friend Daisy still. Every manner of horrible things we could do to her.
Florence took a pretty big hit to the head, so
Yes.
she dropped her a torch.
Okay. So the room is on fire. It's slowly growing. Is going to be catching on fire then.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she's gonna put her hands up. Just make it very obvious that she's, just out of it, woozy.
That's
This is the second thing that you've set on fire, by the way. I think you might
Okay.
have a problem.
Okay, so then I think we'll move to the next one, and I think everyone left is gonna surround Holy Roller. So you got 3 of them here. Actually, she can just stay right there. And so I'm gonna have the 2 that were already here are going to both take subdue attacks on you. They're both gonna start to beat you without trying to actually kill you. And so, because you're so terribly surrounded, I'm going to make this easy for them. Actually, I'm going to make it trivial for them because there's a lot of people around you. And so we've got, we'll say one's got a cudgel. That's a fail. Good job. We'll say one's got a splitting maul. That's a hit. And then we'll say the last one has a blackjack. Also a hit. And so I will go ahead and use the last remaining misfortune to explode the one that did 5 damage. So look at that. It explodes again. So that's 9. What did I roll? I rolled a 1, so that's 10 plus 6 is 16. So that's 19 points of subdue damage to you. It won't kill you. So if you go slain from this, it'll just subdue you. How'd that do you there, Holy Roller?
Yeah, I'm grievously wounded.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can roll for injury if you want. And then Prentice will go, and she again repeats it.
Actually, no, it'll put me to slain. But...
Okay. Because it's a subdue action, though, you don't actually get slain. All right, so we are gonna. Since Florence, did you truly give up, or is that just like you having a ruse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still stuck in this room.
Yeah, you're stuck in that corner. There's a bunch of people in here, and it's starting to catch fire. You'll hear people start to shout, "Fire, fire, fire," etc. And so a couple will start to come in with buckets of water from the well to try to put the fire out. And you'll see that Florence, the Holy Roller, and Big Sis start getting hogtied. A few people start chasing after Gregor. And because you gave up, they're just going to bind your hands. And they're going to keep you kind of on a rope. And one of them's kind of holding it like a leash. But they don't knock you out, and they let you walk. Prentice comes over, takes a look at you, says something maybe about a concussion or some sort. But she's going to be satisfied at that point, and we're going to break. Go ahead.
Florence will ask about Daisy to Prentice.
She's going to look at you. Why don't you go ahead and roll like a charm test or something? Let's see.
What's her rank?
She is an aristocrat. No, I'm sorry. She's a burger.
Okay, so I get a plus 20% to.
Should be down to just
trying to charm
one
her.
fortune point left.
And of course, I fail with a 98%.
That's okay. You tried. Is really what matters. It's just you tried. Okay. We're gonna shift then. Back to Mordio. You have followed the procession northeasternly, and you have reached a familiar cave opening. You can see that several of the groundsfolk have waited around outside. You can see as well some of the passengers that you've noticed before. You see Adrian, you see Paul, the 2 halflings. You see Dwally. Haven't seen her for a while. All of them are bound, and they have blindfolds on, and they're muffled. Everyone's kind of waiting around, uncertain, and someone comes up to one of the groundsfolk comes up to Ingman, and you can kind of overhear him explain the situation, something along the lines of, like Ivo has set a trap. It's just a matter of time now. We'll have the others, and apologies for the delay. And you kind of sit around for a bit. Everyone's just sort of standing there, waiting as the sun continues. Some people are talking. No one really breaks the basic formation of these two lines. And then you see, walking from the church, the very last person is Reverend Mother Lavender Bone, who starts walking down the aisle. And at the entrance to the cave, you can see two orderlies have been set up on either side, both kind of looking down. And she said, the Reverend Mother looks a little bit flustered and frustrated, annoyed at the wait. And she instructs, you overhear her instruct one of the orderlies to start making the others ready. And that's fine. Then, after probably another 45 minutes of just waiting around, and you're welcome to do anything in this time if you want.
I'll just ask around, see like what's going on. Why is everyone bound?
So Ingman looks, unfortunately, not everyone who is supposed to be part of the ritual is here currently. But we've been instructed, or as you heard, they are just a matter of time. And then shortly after asking that question, you see another groundsfolk person comes up and seems to be like, yep, we got them. We're bringing them over now. Thank you for the raid, the Grouch Couch. Oh, that's a cool name, the Grouch Couch. And so some more time passes. You can ask any more other questions you like, but you see one by one Wilfred and Dwally, Adrian and Paul, and then you see another figure dragged up to the cave opening, and you can see that as they get close, it's actually someone you haven't seen in quite some time. It's Aldo Prats, one of the really rich folks. And Ingman has like kind of a sour look on his face. I was hoping we had other plans for this one, but so be it. We need 7, and he'll have to do. And then after another about 15 minutes or so, you can see light coming, you can see a wagon coming, and you see one of the orderlies, you see Nurse Prentice, you see Ivo, you see several other groundsfolk, and you can see walking beside the wagon, bound with her hands and rope, is Florence, and in the back of the wagon are the unconscious bodies of Gregor and Big Sis. There's some conversation that starts happening.
You mean Holy Roller and Big Sis, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Oscar, what did I say?
Gregor.
So
Oh, Gregor. Sorry. No, you do not see Gregor, actually. After a few moments, you see Nurse Barnes approach. He's got Lucas with him. And when they get kind of close to where you and Ingman are standing, Barnes kind of exchanges a look with Ingman and says, he's up to speed. And then Ingman just sort of a curt nod, like businesslike, no big deal. And then the Reverend Mother finally says, at last, the rest of our honored guests have arrived. The ceremony can begin. And you can see that one by one, each one of the people that you were on the boat with start getting carried down into the cave. And Ingman reaches out, and at this point, the stuff that's been on you is pasty and dry, and he just like holds you, he like grabs your wrist. Hold firm, Mr. Ulrich. Hold firm. And then, just like when you were in the church, the procession begins, and everybody who is in the back, all the doctors and nurses that are attending, you can see like Rumon Ips, Esther Wick, you can see Nurse Prentice now, Stillman, you can see Wilcox, Barnes, Neuwirth. All of them begin to start funneling into the cave opening, and eventually, finally, it's you and Ingman as well. All of the groundsfolk stay. up at the top, but they start kind of doing some weird guttural like sound as you and Ingman, like a wedding, like a married couple, like he's giving you away, just walking down between them. This weird guttural thing, almost like they're trying to like force themselves to vomit, like over and over, until finally you start descending what is a familiar stairwell for you.
Oh god, I've joined some weird cult, haven't I?
Well, weird is a bit of an unnecessary word. Cult. Well, honestly, what is the difference between a cult and a religion? Is there anything? Honestly, they're all the same. You worship, you follow certain scriptures and order. In time, you'll come to understand, Mr. Ulrich. Don't worry about it. I must earnestly tell you to. This conversation is happening as you're walking down the hallways. I must stress, stay near me the whole time. Do not leave my side. What you're about to see is going to be upsetting to you, but more importantly, you have been given protections. The food, the paste, the milk, all of these things help to mask our scent. Let the island know that you are one with it. See, the island is a nexus, if you will, of rot. We're not quite sure what it is that nests below it, but we know that it was given to us. It is an agent of our great prince, our great uncle. And it is our charge to ensure that it stays healthy, vigorous. What we give to it, it gives back to us in return. And sometimes its appetite grows so large it gets confused, and we use these different substances to help it understand just precisely who it needs to consume. And so you continue moving down, and eventually you see a room that you've seen before. You see the same large cave, and I'll go ahead and switch us over for everybody at home as well. Let's take a look. There we go.
So, not to interrupt,
Go for it.
but Big Sis and I have been sitting in that gross orchard
Uh-huh.
for hours.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that gross stuff on us at least.
Mm-hmm. I'm not good. I mean,
But we don't have the rot stuff that was eaten and drank and like pushed on face.
I recently shit my pants.
I
Does that
promise
count
you.
too?
I promise you,
Anyways,
Florence. I will take it into
what-
consideration.
What do I need to do to start undoing my restraints?
If you want to, it's skullduggery.
Okay,
okay.
so that's flip to fail.
Okay, so I'll say skullduggery. You can do it at. I was going to say standard, but that's fine. You failed. We have 1 fortune point left if you want to try.
No, I haven't failed. I said it would be flip.
Oh, that's
to fail
charm. I'm sorry. I was reading your charm. My bad. You can roll skullduggery. You are at this point completely surrounded.
Yep.
But you can go ahead and roll skullduggery at standard. Is fine.
I'm not trying to like bolt or anything. I'm just trying to loosen it up.
Sure, no problem. I'm all for this. Unfortunately, that is a fail.
Oh, that is a fail. Okay.
Flip to fail. 51.
Oh
would
yeah,
be a
yeah,
fail.
yeah.
Yeah. We have 1 more fortune point if you want to use it.
I mean, what else are we going to use?
Yeah,
now at
might
this
as
point?
well.
Just do
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, how things could have gone differently. 71, even
Oh.
worse.
Even worse.
Your just head is pounding. So, Mordio, you're led in. You're moved off to a corner of the room where the altar is. The Reverend Mother takes up position behind the altar. You and Ingman are right by the side. Ingman is saying, stay away from the edge. It's very. You don't want to fall down this pit. You don't want to be confused. You can see that a variety of the nurses and doctors have been split off. Big sis, somebody go ahead and shakes your shoulder, throw some water in your face. Hey, Woda. Yeah, we're very much at the end here. So definitely check out the VOD tomorrow. And they're so close to they got so close.
Is this the end of Holy Rollout?
I don't know. So each one of them are put, so you're seeing all these people begin to be placed, and all of them are bound and being watched. Orderlies take up position at different sides of the cave near tunnels that you would know, Mordio. Actually, one of them on the west leads to the manor. One of them on the east leads back to the cave, the cave entrance. Excuse me. Bixis, you're woken up, slapped around, roughed up by Lucas. Your arms are bound, and he looks down at you and he says, "Cousin, you stupid woman. Could you do
Excuse me?
one thing right and shut up? I have negotiated terms with Mr. Barnes. Not only are we going to get our ledgers back, but we now have a new business arrangement that both our fathers will be very, very happy to hear. Move off to the side and be silent. Any interference, I don't care if we're family, I will throw you in the pit myself."
The big sis is gonna start to kind of posture and then just be like, ugh, and then just follow orders.
Okay.
Which is really not what she wants to do.
Oh, I know. And then while everyone's kind of getting situated, we are going to deliver many of our prisoners on intervals not to be suspicious, and we will be rewarded handsomely. Do not blow this for us. And Barnes is there, kind of gives him a little bit of a nod, and he nods back. It seems all the while that you've been trying to be the hero, he has been the pragmatic and prudent businessman. Then
That's why his dad is in charge. And mine is not.
Exactly. So once everyone's in position, Florence, Dr. Newirth is a little bit behind you, and she says, "I'm so sorry, my dear, that it's come to this. But if it makes you feel any better, I will take excellent care of your friend Daisy. I will protect her, and I will ensure that no harm comes to her. She will be a very high priority for me, as she was not apparently for you." And then she kind of pats you on the shoulder and just steps a few feet back. All of you in here begin to hear this grumbling, this almost like a stomach growling at great volume. The cave begins to shake.
Question.
Yeah, sure.
Do the sacrifices need to be alive?
You don't know. Are you asking Neworth?
I'm asking you.
Asking me? I can't tell you that.
Okay. Florence is going to reach for one of her very lovely throwing knives that are smothered kind of in her blouse because she doesn't need to have both hands.
Yeah.
And she's gonna stab herself in the throat.
Okay. And so you the rest of you watch this happen. And Florence, you just fall to the ground, bleeding out. Nobody makes a move towards the edge. The Reverend Mother says, "Well, that was unnecessary, but whatever. Anyway." And she begins her little procession. "Friends, fellow cousins, new members honored guests, we have come here as we always do to give thanks and honor our great uncle and the agent that he has sent to us, he has put in our care. And you hear grumble, grumble, grumble. Florence, you're still alive, bleeding out, hearing a lot of this. We would like to sincerely thank our honored guests. And she starts looking down. Mr. Protz, how indignant you were, how righteous and arrogant you were in your first nights here. Tell me, is that indignation still burning bright in you? And he's just looking up. He's gagged, and he's crying. You can see huge welts of urine in his clothes and the back of his pants. He's probably shit himself more than Holy Roller has. She looks over towards the dwarves, and she says, "Never let anyone suggest that the rumors of dwarven fortitude are at all exaggerated. The two of you have been very admirable in your stay here. We are quite impressed with your fortitude. We gave all of you, every bit of disease and filth in your food that we could possibly conjure. And of all of you, none of you grew sick. None of you. And there was nothing more obvious to us then that you seven are the ones." And she looks over at Aldo and she kind of shrugs. "You six are the ones for this duty." And so she starts making this big old display in front of her. She unrolls some tools. She's got all sorts of little buckets of things, and she starts pulling out these rotted pieces of organs. And she pulls out these different pieces of like fruit that have been rot, squeezing it. And she steps forward behind Aldo, and she throws into the pit this piece of something, meat you would imagine, and there's suddenly a shaking of the earth, and you see little bits of sand and dirt come down from the sky. Rocks begin to fall, and then slowly this tentacle emerges up by Aldo, wraps around his foot, his leg, and pulls him into the pit, and he's "Ah!" And Aldo is no more. Then New Earth mentions, "I think she's about dead. You might as well move to her next." And so Lavender moves around behind as well, standing a couple feet safely behind Florence's now basically dead body, throws another piece of flesh or organ as if it's giving some direction to where the tentacles should come up, and you see it slither up, grab Florence's body. And Florence, the last thing you feel as your eyes shut for the last time are the rocks and the slight burning of a candle as your body is pulled over this ledge and down into the ground. And what are your final thoughts?
Florence's final thoughts are probably just, because most of her, like, grand adventures that she's gone on have been total cock-ups. Like, nothing has gone right. And, like, she tends to lie and pretend like they went better than they have. And it's just a lot of regret. I knew I shouldn't have taken Daisy out here. Like, this is all my fault, basically.
Every time one of these bodies gets pulled over, you can see Ruman Ips in the corner. "Oh, yes, so wonderful." As he kind of is a bit lunatic. A few others, like Ray, kind of turns away from time to time, doesn't like this. Rufflebar seems bored, as if he wants to go do something else. But one by one, she keeps rotating around, and you see a tentacle come up, and Paul gets pulled off just before Adrian, and the two of them screaming as they go down with their high-pitched voices. Dwali looks over towards you, Mordio. as the Reverend Mother starts standing behind her, mixing whatever chunk of meat and flesh. And she looks at you with horrible eyes, burning, bloodshot tears. I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends.
For that moment, yes, but just look around. What am I to do?
And Ingben kind of pats you on the shoulder. Quite right, Miss Smallwood. On with it, Lavender. And she chucks a piece of flesh into the pit. Tentacle comes slithering up, grabs Dwally, and in she goes as well. Wilfred starts howling as his nephew, or as he is her nephew, and he tries to like make a move in your direction, but one of the orderlies quickly comes rushing over and just like holds him out, hanging over top of the pit, not even waiting for a tentacle, and just drops him. And you can see him falls down, and like a belch comes up from below. And at last we come to Holy Roller, as Lavender stands behind. Holy Roller, what is the last thing you want to do here, man? Thoughts, words, deeds, actions, hands are bound.
Can I work to try and free my hands?
Roll a skullduggery test at standard.
Skullduggery. Okay, click standard. Come on, Justin. There you go.
There's a fail. You do not have any fortune because Florence did use it before. Unless somebody wanted to donate for coincidence. But you just can't quite get them unbound.
Oh, we gotta wait 20 seconds for the delay.
So what are you saying? What are you doing? As she walks up a couple steps behind you, at a safe distance. She has never gotten within grasping distance of anybody. She just stands a few steps behind. She's not stupid, and she just throws something overwards. She makes some sort of ritualistic voice as she speaks into like a bladder or a lung and just chucks it over. All right, Holy Roller. Final moments.
Can I see your face before I go?
She thinks about it for a moment. You're free to turn, dear. And you are. Like, you're on your knees, but you can rotate around if you wanted.
So I turn around.
Mm-hmm. And you're about 6 feet from her.
I look at her. I smile.
She smiles back.
And I say, I know that when this is all said and done, I will be with my God Emperor. And all will be fine. But wherever you may go, given this unrepentable action that you are doing on this island, I hope the gods take no mercy on you and yourself. I spit on her and I throw myself back.
Nice. And down you go. And you are tumbling in the darkness for longer than you would have thought.
And as I'm tumbling, I break my restraints free and give one last astonishing elbow drop onto the tentacle.
Okay. And you can feel the last things you feel is 100 teeth, maybe more, pulling apart your flesh and crunching of bones until the agony is enough to make every nerve ending in your body scream out and you go unconscious. And the Holy Roller...
all I do is smile.
The Holy Roller has rolled for the last time. A few moments pass, a few more words by the Reverend Mother, and then the procession begins in reverse this time. And you all make your way out of the cave. All the while, Ingman is checking in to make sure Mordio's okay. Big Sis, you're constantly being berated by Lucas, making sure that you don't screw things up. Um, Eventually, Mordio, you're brought back to the manor. And not only that, but Lucas and Big Sis, you two, are also brought back to the manor. And you both are given rooms, but orderlies have come with you. It's explained to you, Big Sis, as you're waiting around with Lucas, that a ship will be here on the morrow to carry the two of you and several others from the hospital to land. Mordio, you're expected to stay. You're given food for the night. Everyone seems to be very jubilant, very excited. There's definitely a sense of accomplishment here. Do either of you look to do anything through the night?
Yeah, I just want to ask a couple questions. Like, what was the point of that? What do we get in return?
We get to stay on the island, my friend.
So you're saying this thing has always been here?
Unfortunately, I don't have every answer. But whatever lives in its bowels, we believe our uncle put it here. And we were sent here to be its stewards, to keep it healthy as much as it can be, to feed it, to care for it, and the substances that the island has produced for us has helped us develop all sorts of wonderful alchemical and medical compounds that the doctors in Oxterton could only dream of. We know not exactly the origins of it, but we care not. We tend to the garden that we have been given. Does that answer your question?
I see, yeah. Yeah, I'm just wrapping my head around it. That's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
It's not every day we do this. It's usually every few weeks, a month, when the ships arrive. We have several contracts with different merchant vessels for deliveries. We always have to be somewhat careful how many we take, lest to draw too much attention to our activities here. And we do send a fair share of patients back to the mainland, healthy, happy, with nary a bad thing to say about us. It's all a finely oiled machine, sir. We do good. We do. Your friend, what was her name? The one who stabbed herself. What was
Florence.
Florence. Her friend Daisy, for instance. Dr. Newell thinks that she's going to make a full recovery. And when she's ready, we'll send her back with a slightly altered version of events. As far as she's aware, her friend has abandoned her in her time of need. We will ensure that she is healthy and happy and can return to her home of North Punct with a few gifts that we give her. But she will live.
If she was here now, I bet she'd be happy to hear that. She'd be okay.
I suppose. I try not to linger on those we sacrifice. They were given a great honor. They will be reborn within the Garden of Delights of our uncle. They will see him in his great splendor. And although they might not be believers at first, they will shortly thereafter. Mr. Ulrich, I encourage you to get some rest. It has been a very long day. You've seen many things. We'll continue our work tomorrow. There are many things I must show you at the hospital. many inventions, new substances, and you can speak with some of our outgoing patients as well to get a better understanding for all that we do.
And then I'll return to my room and write about today's events.
Big Sis, is there anything you're looking to do?
Ixis is having a drunken, spirited argument with Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to pull him outside a little bit. She's clearly burying her sorrows in liquor, and is attempting to make the argument that there are things that you do as consequences for right and wrong. And what happened here today was done to people that had done nothing wrong. And this is very different from what we do. And I don't see that how.
He takes a
This
big
is okay.
bite of a turkey leg, takes a swig of some booze, and he says,
Right, wrong, I don't care. Would you rather go hop in the pit? You're welcome to. It's still there. I did what I needed to do to ensure we both lived. We both get off the island. And in the process, I made sure our families are going to be better off for it. The ends, cousin, will justify the means. One day you'll thank me for this.
Perhaps. And she'll just drink.
morning comes, breakfast given. By late morning, news of the ship has arrived. Came in sometime early before dawn, and Big Sis, Lucas, some other folks from previous ships are brought down to the docks themselves. And you are eventually waiting around and are given room on the ship to sleep, to keep your things. You get all of the things back that you want. Dr. Ray and Dr. Ingman, Nurse Fletcher, and Nurse Barnes are there, along with a couple orderlies, bidding you all farewell. Most of the passengers from previous ships are hugging and thanking them. They feel so much better, and they can't believe it. They thought they were going to die. And it's just a good 7 or 8 people that just are in far better spirits. And one by one, you all begin to board the ship. And by early afternoon, it pulls away from the island. And the two of you make your way back to the mainland. Mordio, you continue your day, meeting periodically with Ingman. You are brought into the hospital, shown a variety of different rooms that you didn't explore on your own. They start giving you a large rundown on the orderlies and how they function and what they are. And at night, you come back. You have a nice dinner with Dr. Ingman, and the two of you continue to talk about his life and his works. And that is the end of this adventure. Yay!
Oh my gosh.
All right. We did it. It's over.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So I was saying this to Melissa earlier today that so in addition to just cleverness by you guys, right? Cleverness by you guys could have got you off the island just fine. But I also built into every single person story an escape valve that could have got you off the island in different ways. Mordio found his. Big Sis was bailed out by Lucas. Florence, yours was Daisy, in fact. New Earth and Daisy, you could have hung around. And Holy Roller, yours was what's his name? Gregor, Had you been nicer to him in the beginning, he might have let you get on the ship or something like that, and you could have got out of there
I
a
cut
little
the
bit
Gregor
sooner.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like it was going to be a high mortality rate. So 50, I got 2 of you. It was close, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, Florence with the "you're not going to take me on my
That was
term."
awesome. So was the
I was-
backflip and stuff in. Those were great.
I was hoping that they needed like people to be alive for it.
They just needed flesh. They just
Yeah.
need unrotten, untainted flesh. That was the kind of the idea, is that they feed this thing healthy things. All the while, whenever I was making you guys toughness tests, like you were like getting tested for diseases, but you guys kept passing. Only person who failed at one point was Mordio, but you had to fail 2 to be able to
Okay.
contract something. And so Mordio actually never really contracted something, but he does have it in him. But then once you started staying with Ingman, you stopped getting fed tainted food. But any food that was coming from the hospital was being tainted, and like there was like a whole
Gross.
yeah.
And the boat was a trap. Oh,
Yeah, the boat was a trap.
You know, I was thinking, because it was so dark.
Yeah,
I never. There's been so many things where it's like I think about it slightly, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, meh.
Just
But, like,
I was like, we should have grabbed it and done like that whole turtle thing where you just all walk underneath it quietly.
so
Well, I thought about like, well, let's cause a distraction. It's
Yeah.
too quiet here. Let's burn on the other side of the village something
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
before something can come out. But
That
I was like,
certainly
let's
would've
just keep
helped.
going.
that definitely would have thrown a wrinkle into their plans for sure. But after Ivo got away and knew that you guys were going for the boat, that's sort of the
Yeah.
big thing. It was
Yeah.
more than likely they would have figured out like you were going for the boat. But they did, in fact. I mean, with Ivo alive, he made sure to leave some people behind. The grounds hook aren't too difficult. You can kind of get through them, but the fact that an orderly was there pretty much
That's what
ruins the
fucked
party.
it. Yep.
The
Yeah.
orderlies are golems. Is sort of like a modified golem.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with golems is that they can't be damaged by normal means, like normal weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys saw those spears that they had in the rooms
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Had you grabbed some, you would have been able to actually do some damage to them. Not just that, but like significant damage.
Oh shit.
So there's little things here and there. Different things that could have gone a variety. Yeah, things could have gone like so many different ways, which was, I was really kind of curious about some of the choices.
Running around that whole place last week was just so claustrophobic. Like there's just like
Yeah.
nowhere to go.
Yeah. So yeah, there's just so many things. So what do you guys think? It was fun?
Yeah.
was fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sad that I'll never be able to do any Apostles Power Bombs anymore.
That's a shame. That's a shame. I know. I'm sad. I'm sad. If it makes you feel any better, Gregor gets away, lives the fight another day. He's still. Some say he's still swimming. One of these days he might find land. Any questions about what happened or what other things could have happened if different choices were made?
If what would have happened if maybe like Mordio would have thrown the boss into the pit or something?
That would have. I definitely assumed that there would have been. I have sort of encased combat, right? The doctors aren't really going to do much. Rufflebar probably would because he's a hunter, but the nurses and stuff would have backed off and let the orderlies take care of everything. Also, the Reverend Mother, Lavender Bone, is a minister of rot. So you were right about Prince of Decay. So she's a minister of rot. So she's a caster. I was going to cast Carbuncle of Horror, which basically she grows this gross third arm that is effectively like a ranged attack, and so it like shoots out and grabs you and hits you and stuff with it.
What
So-
if we grabbed her and like
She would have cast it, and
I would have either killed myself or I was thinking about grabbing her and then jumping both
Right.
of us into the pit.
I mean, I would have definitely given you an opportunity, like for sure. It sucked that you couldn't get the ropes free with the skullduggery test, but but I definitely, if that's something you would have tried out, yeah, for sure. The thing is like they've done this before, and they know that people are. So she's staying back a little bit further. They're not. Everyone's kind of staying away from the pit, but definitely Possibly. Like we could. It depends. I would have made a. You would have made a check. You know, some sort of coordination thing or something like that to see if you can drag them in. Certainly, and we'll let the dice play it out. But that could have gone crazy if you managed to kill Reverend Mother, because she was the real danger. Ingman, he's an intellectual. He's not really there to fight. So, but Reverend Mother's got some casting skills. But Carbuncle of Horror is a cool thing. She also's got a couple other ones. She's got one that basically farts around you and he makes you helpless. It's so silly.
Were you excited that you got to like show the creature? Because Mordio had like gone trekking through there. So
yeah.
So you're like, oh, well, this is.
It's not even a creature. It's literally the island. So I wanted this to like. I wasn't sure if I was going to do the tentacles or not because I didn't want to
like Krakoa from the X-Men, right, Jeff?
Yes, like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to make it this big, gross thing. And if you fall down, like you're done. Like that was it. Like I could like if Mordio would have failed when he was exploring, he was dead. Like I would have pulled him in, and he would have been dead, no problem. So, what other questions? Yeah, there's lots of little things. There's other places in the hospital we could have gone to as well. Little rooms. There's alchemy rooms and stuff like that where there's like little labs. You could have met the passengers that were healthy because like they were cordoned off. Like the ones that Holy Roller met were ones that were that the experimentations weren't going well, or were more recent and they were being held for sacrifice. But like there's a whole other section of the hospital which is like legitimately a hospital and they're legitimately being cared for. And that's where Daisy is. So Daisy is legitimately being cared for. And then what they do is they send folks out into the world healthy, feeling great, but they're like ticking time bombs because they put other stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, absolute.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up now.
So they're actually sick when they send them out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel great, but like there's some sort of terrible care. Yeah. So like they're just, yeah. There's a couple things you could have found had you tried to bust into the office, or if you would have gone into his room up on into Ingman's room, you could have found some stuff like that. Little details about where they're sending folks. They have connections. Like there's a whole network. So it's beyond this, stuff like that. Whoops.
What if we went back to the sanitarium instead of to the village, the grounds folks village?
Honestly, I didn't think you guys would do that. I mean, there's always got to be somebody on staff because there are people there. So there's always going to be at least one orderly and at least one nurse and at least one doctor. So they're all going to be there, but there wouldn't have been any groundsfolk there. There would have been some servants, but the servants don't really do any attacking. Like the groundsfolk, by groundsfolk, I mean people like farmers and mud farmers and stuff like that. People that are willing to that are under Ivo's watch, basically. But servants like Margaret and stuff, like some of them are just doing it because that's the only way they can survive. They're just doing what they can to survive and bide their time. Others are believers. Others have become believers, and it's a little mix of that. So, I was really interested in the fact that none of you actually went back to to check on the ship at any point when they were doing repairs. So if any of you would have gone back to the ship at any point within the first 48 hours, you would have been able to or maybe tried to find Dwali or something like that because she went missing. They said she went down there. You would have been able to potentially notice something fishy going on with the repairs. That was possible, and that could have. I have like stat blocks for the crew and stuff like that, and like the captains, and that there could have been all sorts of different types of combats that went on should certain things come out. Yeah, it's very sandboxy. So I was like, I'm just letting you guys lead the way, and what happens.
No, that was super cool.
Yeah. So
I feel like at the end of the day, it totally makes sense for like this will be a place to send like people that are in jail for bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like nobody will care, that they go missing.
Yeah.
But Big Sis did just spend like the last like 36 hours like running around hiding with these people. So it was not going to be immediately like, oh yeah, great plan. I'm totally on board.
And you told me, I mean, like because one of the things I asked everybody to do is I asked them to make an NPC. So everyone just make an NPC. And so Melissa made Lucas her cousin. And she specifically mentioned in your backstory that Lucas and his father are they cut corners, and they do like they're more susceptible. They're more corrupt than you and your father on your side of the industry. So I was like, it makes perfect sense that Lucas would negotiate this, right? But at the same time, you also said like blood is thicker than water, that kind of thing. And so he I always had that back pocket. But had you done anything in the cave, had you tried it, like you would have gone in, they would have thrown you in for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least they would have tried.
Self-preservation at that point.
I was kind of hoping we would get into a chase scene in the cave because I wanted to do like a dark chase scene with like her, like with the Reverend Mother chasing after you with like this weird tentacle arm coming out of her back.
Oh, jeez.
That could have been a lot of fun, but it's all good. So yeah. But anyway, we're going to start up a new story next week. You guys excited for this?
Yes.
Yes.
Big
for sure.
Sis and Mordio are both eligible to return if you guys want them to return. We'll talk about how that might work. We'll see. Ashley and Justin, you're gonna have to roll some new characters up. We're gonna do intermediate tier. So you're gonna be all the way through your first profession, starting your second profession, your intermediate profession. We'll see how it goes. The title of the next adventure is The Unsettled Stem. Mordio, or I should say Long and Melissa, have both sort of been here briefly in a previous campaign in a different game, but we're going to delve into it a little bit more. It's a wild wilderness area that is filled with superstition and weird small communities that never quite get settled. It's called Unsettled because every time any attempt to settle it, make farmland, make cities or towns, the earth just swallows it up, bad luck happens, etc. And so we're going to get into that. It's going to be 13th Warrior meets The Hills Have Eyes is kind of my tagline for now. But it's going to be a little bit more of a crawl, meaning you're going to be crawling a bit through the wilderness and discovering some stuff. A little sandboxy. We'll see. I don't really have an idea of how many episodes it'll go, but I would say under 10.
It sounds much less claustrophobic than an island that we can't freaking get off of.
Right.
Well, and this one was cool because it was really like long set, very Mansions of Madness, where it constantly felt like we had a ticking.
You're running out of time. Yeah.
Clock. Yeah.
Yeah, because you did. You have clocks. I mean, that's how I prep, right? Like, I figure out, well, who are the factions? So in this case, you've got the doctors and whatnot, and then you got the crew as well.
Yeah.
What are they trying to accomplish? And how long will that take? If left to their own devices, how long would that take? Day or two, 3 days, 4 days. And then anytime you guys do something, I just ask myself the question, like, does this interfere with that clock? And if it does, it pushes stuff back, or it accelerates stuff in some cases, or stops it entirely, or it pisses them off to the point where they're like, all right, we're just going to nip this shit in the bud. But
how much did my Fire of the Fields like adjust your clock?
That definitely screwed some things up. Yeah. Because they probably would have sent out hunting parties for you all earlier. There were a handful that were out that Holy Roller saw, but only a handful. Otherwise, it would have been like a giant search party, like looking for a lost kid in a forest. Like, it would have been intense, and you probably would have gotten discovered a lot sooner, and they would have thrown the net around you. And we probably
Good
wouldn't
job, then.
Yeah. So that definitely avoided that for sure. So. But I guess that's it. We'll be back next week, same time, starting a brand new story. So for those of you who are still in the channel hanging out with us, thanks for hanging out for so long. For those of you watching the VOD or the YouTube or something like that, if they're putting it up on YouTube, I think they are. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions or anything like that, catch me on Twitter at LollyGaggerCo. Throw me a message or hit me on the Zweihander Discord or something like that. You can catch us there. Let's see. This week, so Friday, tomorrow, the Defenders of Cobalt, Chuck GMing is they're doing the Bloody Marches. They're continuing that every other week, so you can catch them here at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch us on our own channel tomorrow, twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers. You can catch us a little bit earlier, so start with us, and then when the time comes, you can shift over to Chuck, and I'm sure we'll probably raid or something like that too. We're playing Mutineer Zero, our Gen Lab Alpha game, tomorrow. And then Monday, we'll have episode 45 of our audio-only podcast you can find. Just search for Adventures in Lollygagging wherever you get podcasts, and you can find it there. 45 episodes of about an hour to an hour and 45 minutes, somewhere in there. So plenty of stuff to listen to if you're looking for something to binge. Early episodes are a little rough as we're getting used to recording. There's some mic bumps and stuff, but we get better at it, and the story gets more interesting, I think. Monday night on twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers at 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. You'll catch me and Melissa continuing our Heart game, Heart the City Beneath, which I love. I absolutely love that game, and I love that system. And we have friends from Zweihander, we have friends from Defenders of Cobalt that are joining us as players.
It's
and
been
so,
a wild ride.
2 episodes, both
Yes.
of them are on the VOD. I might put up the second episode up on our YouTube tomorrow if I have time before I prep our Gen Lab game, but we'll see. But that is it for us. So in honor of Florence and Holy Roller, who let's all pour one out for them. There's actually nothing in here, so that's why I'm doing that. We'll see how it goes. All right. So good night, everybody.
Night.
No,
Bye.
thank you for joining us.